mic drop.
That man is a product of a poor environment. There's absolutely nothing wrong with him. I can prove it.
Of course there's something wrong with him. He's a Negro.
The mic drop.
The story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Mic drop. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Big Mic Drop. We have the lovely Ronnie Ledoux in the building. How you doing, Ronnie?
Hey, what's up, Mike?
Hey, man, what's up, man? What's up?
Nothing, just a little bit under the weather, so if I sound funny, I'm sorry.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. I like that shirt.
I'm a history teacher, America.
Oh, yeah, Ronnie repping, man. We got the answer to your critical race theory argument, man. Just fire your history teacher, man. You know, and
That's
right.
right.
Learn it on your own, read your own story, learn your own history.
Teach your own children.
Exactly. Teach your own children. And, you know, maybe you could just listen to the Big Mic Drop every Thursday night at 8 p.m. because we be dropping straight knowledge. So tonight, this is a different type of show. This is a show that I have to do just because I feel. And I'm glad you decided to join me tonight, Ronnie. You know, we're both native to Mobile, Alabama.
Yes, we are.
So, you know, it's heartbreaking to hear what we're degrading to in our city. And we're here to talk about the 17 shootings that occurred in a 72-hour period in Mobile, Alabama, a place on the map that most people have probably never heard of. And when they get there, they never realized it was as big as it was when they get there.
Right.
If they ever make it there. But it's just one of those cities, if you know, you know. And Mobile has always been kind of rough around the edges.
17 shootings? You said 17? Let's emphasize 17 shootings in 72 hours in a city that's, I mean, how many square feet? I'm just curious. What's the population in Mobile? I used to know it by heart.
Mobile's population is probably about
240?
It's a little bit bigger than 240.
Really?
I would say probably about 300, close to 300.
Okay.
And because if you look at the metro area, then, you know, the Mobile County, the Eastern Shore, all of that,
right.
It's probably about 5 or 6.
Yeah, that is part of the county.
600,000 or 700,000 people in that area. So, you know, it's a sizable city, but for the amount of crime, we posted numbers like Chicago in this month. You know what I'm saying? Yo, we got Uncle Stu in the motherfucking building.
Hey, Uncle Stu.
Stu, man. Salute to you. Matter of fact, man, this might be a conversation that, you know, Uncle Stu might find very, we might be able to find value in what Uncle Stu's perception of this or perspective is on this, you know, black on black situation in Mobile. And I will go out on a limb and assume that most of these shootings were black on black. But, you know, that's another issue. What we're going to really talk about tonight is we're going to talk about Sandy Stimpson, the mayor of Mobile, had something very interesting to say in regard to this, in response to this. And I wanted to get I wanted to put my thoughts out there about it. Ronnie wanted to put her thoughts on about it. And, you know, I want to get y'all's thoughts on the situation there in Mobile, Alabama. I can imagine it's disheartening. And it's some things that I noticed about the situation that makes me a little bit uncomfortable. And I really hope my people in Mobile that's listening, that are empowered in Mobile, really make the right decisions when it comes to, you know, replacing this government that they have currently. I'm sorry.
I kind of want to add, Lib, that
go ahead.
When the crime rate first started increasing, it was like right after Katrina, and they were blaming it on people migrating from New Orleans. But we can't use that as an excuse anymore, because that was many years ago. So this should be under control at this point.
Right.
This is horrible.
And anybody migrating from anywhere else, it's kind of hard to migrate to somewhere else and just commit crimes and just create crime on that type of level.
Exactly.
So I think the Katrina victims and the refugees from Katrina, they were kind of the scapegoat for a lot of
right. Exactly.
Problems. You know what I'm saying? So I could say that fairly. We had, you know, people from Katrina that were staying in Dothan, Alabama, where I was staying, and we found out they were distant cousins from Slidell, Louisiana, but they were displaced, man. Yeah. And I mean, we kicked it. I have to leave. I will come back. All right, word. Uncle Stu will come back. So when you come back, Uncle Stu, I'm gonna drop that link in the chat for you. But you know, we got a sizable amount of people in. Don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe. Ronnie gonna be in and out tonight, man. We're dealing with this high pollen count. I don't know where you stay, but Atlanta got my allergies jacked up, man. Atlanta got my allergies jacked up. You can see the pollen laying on top of the cars when you go outside. So I mean, it's that time of year. It's that time of year. Things are in bloom. And maybe even ideas are in bloom as well. So we're going to find out a little bit about that tonight. We're going to find out a little bit more about that tonight. But let me hop into this story, because I want to just emphasize this story. I want people to understand this and just get a little bit background on it. Give me one moment. I'm going to play that video while Ronnie's out. This is the perfect time. And let's talk about this story. Give me one moment. The name of this story is Mayor points finger at judicial branch after violent weekend in Mobile, Alabama.
Free.
So,
get unlimited advice from tax experts.
Let me take that
free.
off of here for
or
now.
have an expert do it all for you. 100% free. Only from TurboTax.
Let me take
Simple
that off
tax
of here
returns
for now.
only. Must file by March 31st.
I'm sorry, y'all.
We have a crime alert, an unsettling weekend of violence in Mobile that started with 3 homicides Friday afternoon. The gunfire continued through the weekend. We are aware of at least 17 shootings since Friday. Today, city leaders addressed the alarming rate of shots fired in the city.
I'm going to start that back over.
We have a crime alert, an unsettling weekend of violence in Mobile that started with 3 homicides Friday afternoon. The gunfire continued through the weekend. We are aware of at least 17 shootings since Friday. Today, city leaders addressed the alarming rate of shots fired in the city.
Let's go now to NBC 15's Andrea Ramey. Andrea, city leaders trying to calm public fears, saying most of that violence is not random.
Right, but crime scene tape litters busy parts of the city. 2 teens were shot and killed right here on Azalea Road Friday afternoon, and that's very close to Fondy Elementary School. Then again last night around 7:30 at a vigil held here for those victims, more gunfire erupted. The city says it's a miracle no one was hurt after roughly 70 shots were fired. Police arrested 4 people and seized 2 stolen guns. We asked Chief Paul Prine if Mobile has a gang problem.
We don't have the gang problems that you necessarily see on the East Coast and the West Coast, where you have an organized structure, if you will. What we do is have what I call these troubled youth in these neighborhoods that form cliques and they form sets, but they are certainly acting with gang activity, especially with the violent crime.
The chief says the city cannot arrest its way out of the violence, pointing to the double homicide as an example. He says a 2016 murder suspect, whose case was dismissed over a technicality, actually set off a chain of events that led to the double homicide Friday. Mayor Sandy Stimpson says the problem is not police, it's a broken judicial system. Stimpson says there are 335 pending murder cases in Mobile, and many of those suspects are out on the streets committing more crimes.
It's time to start asking other questions of other people that are involved in this process. What are they doing? Where's their scorecard? And so, look, it was with a lot of, I'm going to say, concern before we came here and said the criminal justice system is broken. That looks like all we're trying to do is pass the buck. And I promise you, we're not trying to pass the buck. This is a plea for help, okay, for our entire community.
Stimpson's office is helping to fund a 9th additional courtroom to address the backlog of murder cases. Both the presiding circuit court judge and the district attorney tell us that their offices are working very hard to cycle through the hundreds of pending murder cases in Mobile County. Reporting live in Mobile tonight, Andrea Rainey, NBC 15.
All right.
Alice loves the scent of gang so much.
Yeah, this ain't gonna be no gang commercial. So, hundreds of murder cases in a city of less than 500,000 people. We have a backlog of hundreds of murder cases that haven't been heard, to the point to where they want to spend money and build another additional courtroom to take care of something that they should have been equipped to take care of in the first damn place.
Do we actually need another courtroom, or do we need more manpower? Which do we really need?
We need more manpower in the leadership positions. And that's why I put these people on the cover of this show tonight. Because, yeah, it does look like you're passing the buck, in my opinion, Mayor Stimpson, in all due respect. It looks like you're passing the buck by saying we have a broken judicial system, or you have a broken judicial system. I don't live in Mobile anymore, but I have interest in Mobile, and I have family and loved ones in Mobile.
That's
so,
right.
You know, of course, I'm always going to take a interest in Mobile politics and what's going on in Mobile. So, yeah, we got land there we got to look after, and our folks. So, but to say that the judicial system is broken, my next question is going to be, how long would you say this has been broken? Did it just break, or has it been broken for a long time? 335, if I'm not mistaken, murder cases pending right now in Mobile, Alabama.
And how long do they have to be open and unsolved before they become cold cases?
I don't know about that.
Because that's really no statute of limitations. So how does this thing go?
Well, these are already people that have been charged with murder.
Okay. So why are the cases still open?
These are pending cases. I'm talking about, they haven't been to trial.
Okay, so they're waiting for trial.
Yeah.
They've been charged, but they're waiting for trial.
Correct. But they're out on bond in the meanwhile. So the story continues, and I'm not going to spread that young dude's information all across, you know, here. But it basically stems from a guy that was, on bail. He got caught at the vigil that was shot up after the 2 young teens died on Cottage Hill and Azalea on Friday daylight. My mother was almost hit by a police officer going to get my niece from school.
That's scary.
On the high-speed chase that went downtown, in which case another person was killed. So it was 3 bodies within a matter of, an hour in the middle of the day on Friday. And I guess it just kept happening. The calls just kept coming in. And I had some folks that, fire medics and, stuff like that, this is real shit, man. This is real shit, man. That's a lot, man. This is alarming, to say the least. And then for the mayor to say this, let me just read this.
And to say that I'm not passing the buck kind of tells me that you've recognized that that's what you're doing, because why would you verbalize something like that?
Right, because that's what it looks like.
Exactly.
That's what it looks like.
Because you've done your own assessment of what's going on, and you know that that's what you're doing.
Right. So, what's going on with the police work? You know what I would like to know? And let me read a little bit of this, okay, just to get started. So this is from WPMI. Mobile experienced an unsettling weekend of violence that started with 3 homicides Friday afternoon and ended with dozens of shots fired at a Sunday night vigil for 2 of the homicide victims. We are aware of at least 17 shootings since Friday. It's unclear how many of them are connected. On Monday, city leaders addressed the alarming rate of shots fired and pointed the finger at what they called a broken judicial system. Mayor Sandy Stimpson says that there are 335 pending murder cases in Mobile. 193 are awaiting trial, and 142 have yet to go before a grand jury. Stimpson says many of those suspects are out on the streets, wreaking havoc on the community. It's time to start asking other questions of other people. This is a quote. That are involved in the process. What are they doing? What's their scorecard? We heard that part. And so, look, it's with a lot of concern before we came here and said the criminal justice system is broken. That it looks like all we're trying to do is pass the buck. And I promise you, we're not trying to pass the buck. This is a plea for help, said Stimpson. Help from whom? You're the mayor.
Save me from myself.
Help from whom? Help from whom?
But look, isn't the grand jury something that you can actually skip? I mean, not everything has to go before a grand jury. How do they decide which cases they're going to put before the grand jury?
I'm not a legal professional.
I mean, I'm just wondering why those cases can't go another route. I don't think all cases, I don't really know either, Mike, but I've heard people say that all cases don't go before a grand jury. They decide which cases they're going to take.
Okay.
I think they evaluate the cases that will go before the grand jury. So just, if you have that many cases that you need to get out of the way, just do regular. Can you just do trial by jury without a grand jury? Just a judge and a group of our peers, 12 of our peers? Can we just do that?
Right. I don't know. But something has to happen.
Let's look into that. Let's find out.
Yeah.
We got to do some homework. I'm going to look into it. I'm going to look into it tomorrow. I'm curious. Yeah. I can do it now.
Yeah. Google that and see what we got.
Yeah. Let me find out because I'm curious to know.
Like I said, I'm going to slow this show down tonight because this is a serious conversation and I really can't afford to miss any points because this is just the starting point. This really isn't the whole show. But, it's definitely open, to be talked about. Yo, and we got the guy in the building.
Hey!
Also, I forgot to mention, we got Miss Amber later in the building.
Amber!
I didn't forget to mention, but I saw the comment earlier. I just forgot to pop it up. But so I call this story Epic Failures in Public Safety. Epic Failures in Public Safety because I placed this square in the laps of the people that we have that we're looking at on this thumbnail. And for those people who don't know, who aren't from here, I guarantee you got a set of these bozos in your city. We got the public safety director. We have the district attorney to your right. I got a thumbnail of some old ass judge in the back, but that represents Mobile's judicial system, obviously. And we got the mayor in the middle who's pointing fingers at both of them. So, and kind of, skipping the blame from himself. Mr. Mayor, once again, respectfully, I ask you, who are you wanting help from? Can anybody?
Black Panthers? You want us to reinstate the Black Panthers? Do we need to? The citizens? The citizens need to start fighting crime? Should we all become vigilantes? I mean, how does this thing work? What do we need to do to fight crime?
Hey, don't give no white folks no ideas. Talking about vigilantes and shit. I get uncomfortable when you start talking about vigilantes. We got listeners that might, don't give them no ideas.
But look, Mike, it says the purpose of the grand jury is to hear testimony from witnesses and review the state's evidence to determine if there is probable cause to issue an indictment against a suspect. In Alabama, an indictment must be returned by a grand jury before any felony case can go to trial.
Oh.
I didn't know any federal cases, because I've known people that have federal cases that did not go before a grand jury.
Well, it's saying Alabama, in Alabama.
Right. I'm talking about in Alabama.
Yeah.
Yeah, it says a grand jury is presented with evidence from the U.S. attorney, the prosecutor in federal criminal cases. The grand jury determines whether there is probable cause to believe the individual has committed a crime and should be put on trial. So maybe the grand jury is probably in the best interest of the person accused. Because what if you're guilty and the grand jury don't have enough evidence to, probable cause? So it could help a person, actually, more so than hurt them, I think.
Right. Absolutely. And I'm glad you said that, because we do need to put the disclaimer out there that people are innocent until proven guilty.
That's right.
Because you've been charged with something does not necessarily mean you've done that. So I don't want, this is a jam up in their system. And it happened during COVID and whatnot, because everybody mishandled that shit. That's another story.
Working from home.
I don't want to get this thing flagged, but a lot of stuff got jumbled up during the quarantine when it came to courts and paperwork and stuff like that. But I still have to ask another question, Mr. Mayor. How many tickets y'all write on Friday night? How many tickets did y'all write on Sunday night while the vigil was getting shot up? Over 70 shots fired at a vigil for the two brothers that got killed earlier that, Friday afternoon on Cottage Hill. So 2 days later, people come back and shoot up the vigil.
That's crazy.
This is real deal demon time. See, the kids like to use that term, demon time, but that's real talk. See, I don't know about y'all out there. I believe in demons, and I don't evoke the names of demons just on no joking shit.
That's true.
Just like I don't use the name of God on no joking shit. So I don't evoke the name of demons. I don't talk that into my life. So when somebody say they on demon time, I really believe them. I'm trying to get the hell out your way. And this ain't no religious type of talk or nothing like that. This is just pure facts. I don't even want to be around you when God decide to deal with you. You know what I'm saying? While you on demon time. Because I might catch some just from being around you.
Collateral damages.
Collateral damages.
Yes.
So, but I started thinking about the Mobile system, and I wrote a pretty lengthy post yesterday about it, man, because I almost did like a 4-page Aaliyah letter, about this, because I just started feeling a certain way, because what the mayor said actually it had a gravitational effect, and by gravitational I mean that the more it sunk in, the more it compounded. So like gravity, the further distance something falls, gravity pulls at a certain weight, which exponentially increases as it falls. So these words exponentially impact, or they have an exponential effect when I hear them. Broken justice system, a broken judicial system. Can a broken judicial system provide justice? Is this going to be the same broken judicial system that Nia Bradley has to go in front of?
Well, when you put it like that, Mike, maybe people will see what you mean when you word it like that. That's probably the best wording to get people to get it to hit home with people.
Yeah. Or is it a broken judicial system when you get sentenced, excessive sentences? Because Mobile good for that.
Yeah.
Oh, they good for picking up somebody with a dime sack.
They give them 10 years.
Try to give them throw the book at them. See, this is the product of mediocrity in high places. And I'm going to say it, and I hate to level such an indictment against them, but I'm tired of seeing it, and I got loved ones there, and they don't need to be putting up with this shit, trying to ride around on the weekends and shop. Trying to go out to eat or whatnot. People, at the dollar store trying to pick up some last minute things on the way home. you know, find herself in the hell of gunfire. Somebody at a Shell station pumping gas was in a hell of bullets. And all they were doing was stopping to pump gas on the way home.
That's a scary thought.
It's a scary thought. And see, kind of like the Pritchard thing, kind of like the water bill money going missing or whatever money was going missing, and it was just being ignored from the powers that be downtown. You okay? You need to get some water?
I got everything. I got water.
Okay.
I got tea.
Them allergies is tearing you up.
I got wine. I got everything trying to make myself feel better.
Word. You can stop me at any time, man. I know I can get on a soapbox, but I've had a lot to say about this here. A lot to say about this. And let me switch internets, man, because I don't know. I'm paying way too much for this internet to always be tripping. Me and Comcast gonna have to have a discussion.
That's what I was gonna ask. Do y'all have Comcast or Optimum down there? All right. What's the other one? Xfinity?
Xfinity, I believe. It's Comcast, Xfinity, one of them shits. All of them the same damn company.
That's true.
All of them the same company. I think AT&T own all that shit or somebody like that. So you know how it goes. But I just want to reiterate that this stuff isn't happening and these people aren't walking free in white communities in Mobile. Well, they are now. You know, it was an elementary school right across the street from where this shooting occurred.
What if a stray bullet would have got somebody's child?
Yeah, when school was getting out. This was right around the time school was getting out. You see what I'm saying? So now it's spilling out into the streets because there's really no black and white community in Mobile, with the exception of certain really exclusive places, right? But most of Mobile is pretty much mixed.
Right.
You're not going to move anywhere in Mobile to where you see all black people. You're not going to move anywhere where you see all white people. Well, maybe certain areas you may see all black people still.
Certain areas still.
Certain areas. And, you know, I guarantee you that's where a lot of these murder suspects are running around. So when it comes to not protecting us, it's okay. And that's what I'm starting to see. It's a thread. It's a commonality running through all of this. If our water bills are getting robbed, you know, we're getting our money taken. We're not getting value out of the system that we pay into. It's fine. Nobody's gonna really lift a finger to do the heavy lift. Nobody's gonna do the hard work. They're gonna pass the buck, which is what Ashley said she did. Where she got the fucking letter from the people in the beginning about what was going on at the Pritchard Water Board when the girl had spent $7,500. And now
that's why I posed the question at the time. I'm sorry, Mike, not to cut you off, but what you just said is why I posed the question at the time. Why was it only the citizens in Pritchard with so many complaints? What about the citizens in Chickasaw, which is more of a Caucasian population than it is black? There were some complaints, but they weren't as many complaints coming out of Chickasaw as it was in Pritchard, and they share the same water board. So,
right. I feel like it was just certain areas. I feel like it was just certain areas, and if they ever will stop gatekeeping it long enough,
right,
for somebody to really look into it to fix the problems, you'll probably find out that it was even a deeper level, a more disturbing level of discrimination that was occurring in the process of this. But this has been our story throughout history. And now the world is getting a chance to see it. And that's why I decided to do this story tonight. This is the type of justice we get. And not saying that I hope this happens to anybody, kids, but those aren't little other than black kids that are laid out in the middle of the road on a Friday evening, afternoon, after school. I'm going to take a quick commercial break. about 2 minutes. I'm gonna take a quick break because, like I said, the conversation is gonna get deep, and I just want to make sure that everybody's taking their medicine. So we're gonna hit you with a classic. All right.
Remember how you felt when you introduced your female cousin to your mediocre white girlfriend? Or how about when you went out with your white coworkers to happy hour and ended up losing your job with harassment charges? Or even when you interviewed this nigga, knowing good and damn well you weren't gonna hire him because he looked like your baby daddy people, although he was qualified. We at the Big Mike Drop Labs would like to introduce you to ho0tings, a drug for coonish behavior. Doctors reported a 3.8% drop in platinum blonde dark ass niggas last year alone. And ho0tings has a 75% effectivity rate in old ass coon niggas. 9% of working age coons self-reported exercising greater restraint from kissing white folks' asses, thus cutting down on the spread of pink eye in the office. If you're experiencing...
Oh, man, I forgot about that, man. My bad, y'all. My bad. I ain't trying to get kicked off the book or the ground. You can't use the C word. Can't use the C word. You can say nigga all day, but you can't use the C word. So, my bad for that. I didn't mean to offend any of the coons or butter biscuit eaters in the room. So please don't report me.
Well, if they say something about it, then we know that somebody reported us because we're more than 2 minutes into the broadcast. So they're not looking into this part unless somebody tells on us.
Yeah, somebody's going to tell. So that's going to be the question, man. This stop snitching culture that we got going on in here. Man, we got the world class in the building.
Hey.
Yo.
What's up?
Man, you already know what time it is, man. I'm going to go on do it. Go on do it. I'm ready to get this thing started, man. I'm actually going to open up the phone lines as well. And we're going to talk about a few things. But I can't let this story go without talking about what our part that we can do right now is in this situation, because these folks are in crisis right now as far as the government side is concerned. They're in crisis right now. The world class in the building. Hey,
Ronnie. Hey.
Yeah, man, I already put the link in the chat, man. If you want to come on, brother, you know what I'm saying? You're welcome, man. Hopefully we got Uncle Stu coming back on, man. He said he had to leave for a minute, but he should be coming back on as well. And we're going to get a little bit deeper into discussion. I had a few more things I wanted to talk about. We're going to keep an eye on that, on this situation in Mobile, man. And let me show this. Now, my internet starts acting up when I show stuff on the thing. Oh, no, I don't want to see that. That ain't what I want. Never mind. That was not what I wanted. I'm not trying to talk about Kanye West or the game or nobody tonight, man. We're not talking about the game. We spitting this game. You see what I'm saying? That's what we got.
Real life issues
we
to deal with.
This game. We got real life issues to deal with. And like I said, it's impacting the hometown, man. I got, a pre-teenage niece running around there trying to grow up, man. I ain't got time to be hearing this bullshit going on, man. 17 shootings in a weekend.
That's horrible.
Right. I could see if it was during the week when the kids not out in public, everybody trying to move around. Y'all just do it on the weekend. But you shoot people when you get off work. We got to stop. Let me tell a quick story real quick about this. I was thinking about this in this term. So in any situation, let's take this situation that we got here and what we will compare this situation to. Let's compare it to maybe picking up your trash. Something like a utility, right? Keeping your streets trash free. So whenever I throw my trash into the big trash can, I take it out to the road and I depend on somebody to come pick that trash up and take it to the landfill or wherever. Right. But what happens, in most situations is, you have either companies or different contractors that pick up trash, and they can go through strikes. There's all type of things that can happen where your trash won't get picked up. But for the most part, your trash is going to get picked up. We depend on the government or some kind of municipal utility provider to pick up our trash. But what happens when you don't have that? When there's nobody that's bridging that gap to get your trash from your kitchen or your curbside to the landfill?
Sure.
Trash just piles up. And it becomes unsanitary after a while. It's real nasty, it's gross, it stinks, and it can start really affecting and infecting everything around its surroundings. You can have the nicest house in the world. Let them not pick the trash up in front of that for 2 or 3 weeks and see what happens. See how it smells. It's not going to smell nice. It's not going to look nice for much longer either if the trash keeps piling up. So we depend on the government, our local governments, to bridge that gap for us and to get our trash from, like I say, from our curbside to the landfill. Think about that when it comes to crime as well. What we're experiencing right now, and this is the mayor's own words, is a failure to get it from your curbside to the trash can or the landfill.
So it's a third-party contractor. Who would that be? Would that be the DA's office? Would it be the police department? Who's dropping the ball?
Whoever the mayor's asking for help. I don't know.
We don't know.
Come in. I mean, what does help mean?
Yeah,
there's
what does he
so
want?
many people that can help the mayor. That's either the state or the feds.
Yeah, what does he want?
Right. Now, we'll say this. The police chief, I don't know much about him. I knew about the last police chief, and I know he was, real big on numbers and things like that. And I'll just leave it at that. But the police chief said something that was interesting in that little article was that we can't arrest our way out of the issue, out of the problem. And I thought that was extremely powerful because he's right. The problem is going to continue to stack up the more people you arrest. Because these are still cases that y'all can't perform the basic function of getting to a quick and speedy trial, which is a constitutional right, by the way.
Right.
You have a constitutional right to a fair and speedy trial.
But what happens when they build this additional courtroom, but they don't have an additional jail space at the Metro jail or wherever they're going to send these people? You can't just incarcerate people if there's no, they have to do something, because that's not going to fix the problem either. An extra courtroom does not do anything.
We'll see the Metro situation. Metro doesn't serve the purpose that it's supposed to serve, because you have people living in totally downright horrible conditions, sleeping on concrete floors and shit like that. That's in Metro prison. And Metro, it's worse than a prison. For those who don't know anything about Mobile, Alabama, Mobile County is worse than being in an Alabama state prison.
It hasn't always been that way, because I was the nurse down there for a while, and the living conditions were not always like that.
Right. So
it hasn't always been that bad.
I'm gonna tell you what really should happen, but nobody's gonna really want to do it and do what it takes. Somebody needs to end the war on drugs. They need to end it.
So you're thinking when drugs are no longer illegal and people can just freely use them, you're thinking that's going to stop the crime? Which drugs are we talking about? Do we mean just like marijuana, which is legal in some states like here? Or do we mean drugs in general? Like, are we talking meth and crack? Or are we just talking like marijuana? What are we talking? Which drugs?
I mean, look, they just had one of the biggest dope dealers, according to their story, is one of the biggest dope dealers in the city was on the police payroll or whatever. He was giving the police information and still allowed to move these massive amounts of cocaine, in which case, it actually it went on so long that it ended up with 2 old elderly people getting killed that had nothing to do with none of the shit. So no telling, I don't know. I'm not in a position to speculate. I'm not going to talk about street business like that on here. But what I am saying, everybody knows what I'm saying when it comes to this.
Right.
So it's obviously something real twisted and perverse going on downtown, because I don't know whether they have to have people to give information for them to continue stacking up this money that they stacking with these court costs and these incarceration kickbacks and everything that's going on. Sandy Stimpson's onto something. And I want to dig deeper and find out what he means by broken judicial system.
And are his comments going to help people or hurt people? Like what he said, is that going to be grounds for somebody in court to say, my client, this is a broken system as per the mayor. My client needs another trial. I mean, what are the words that he made, the statement that he made, what did that do for anybody? I mean, he alleged that it's a broken system, but he didn't give any solution, not even a suggestion as to what needs to be done or who he can seek help from. So that leaves everything is unresolved still. What was that whole speech about?
I believe it did something for him.
It just passed the buck off of him, which he said he was not trying to do, but that's exactly what he did.
Yeah. But when somebody say, I ain't trying to lie to you before they start talking,
That's a lie coming.
Most people assume that when you talk, you're volunteering information, you're not trying to lie to me. So you don't have to, what I mean? So we're not assuming because you're the mayor, you're the strong leader, you're the captain of the ship. You ran for it. You spent money to get it.
He the same one that had the blues shows.
Yeah,
and the
fish
chicken
fries
and
and
whatever he
Tucker.
had.
You had fish fries and Tucker, man.
Well,
You was at the Tucker concert, dog, and the fish fry.
Well,
you
did what he had
parties
to do to get in the office.
to get this damn position. And now you're talking about, it's broke. I need help. What the fuck?
I'm not going to laugh, Mike. I'm too sick to laugh. I'm not going to laugh at you.
Come on, man.
Okay.
Don't make the real angry guy the fiery, cuss word. Don't make me get started, man. Ashley Rich need help. The motherfucking feds got to come take care of the scam chick.
I hate she was a female. I mean, not that we can't handle these positions, but I hate that it looks like she dropped the ball. I mean, even if she did, I just hate it happen under a female's watch because they always try to make us look like the weakest link. And this system was probably broken before Ashley Rich stepped in.
Oh yeah, it was
because we don't know what the system was like when Tyson left the system. We don't know what Ashley walked into. So I mean, we gotta cut her a little bit of slack.
Can't cut her shit. Cutting her nothing.
It's only so much you can do when you come into a broken.
Like, no, man. We're gonna talk about cutting women slack too. Because
not just because she's a woman, not just because she's a woman. Even if a man was in that position, I would say, even if it was a man, even with Donald Trump, I said the same thing. I said it with Obama. I said with anybody in a position of power. When you come into a position, there are already things that are broken. I mean, how much of that fault can you? She's had enough time to fix some things, but we don't know how bad the problem was when she took on the job.
But she came from that system.
Well, they said what do they call it? Inbred problem.
She was a student of that class. So
that's all she knows.
She was tapped to be the DA, and she's about to tap somebody to take her place when she leaves next year or whenever she leaves. So that's going to be on y'all mobile or whether y'all vote for whoever Ashley Rich endorses at the end of this day. There's more people running, and this isn't a political platform. Yeah. But like I said, we got other people running. I want to talk to them before I start dropping their name and see if it's okay with them because I don't know what their campaign strategy is.
Right.
But if I can help, and you know who I'm talking to, we got people running for the district attorney in particular. So, a lot of these judges are elected. A lot of these judges run uncontested. I understand wanting to separate from the system, but I think that I'm still of the school of thought that you should never separate from your local system. You should never not participate in your local politics. Federal politics, who gives a shit? Senators, senators, and presidents, who cares?
But you know what, Mike?
Your local politics, you should never disengage from local politics. Go ahead.
It's funny that you say that because a lot of people look at it differently. And I'm one of those people, I never looked at it how you just said it. I'm one of those people, when they say, did you vote? I'll be like, I only vote when it's the presidential election. And I mean, now that you say it like that, it makes sense to really vote for what's local because that's what's going to make the difference in your community. But I just never, on those days when they're having local elections, for some reason, it may not sound like it's the right thing to say, but it's always a damn, like, I'm tired, I'm not going. If it's not the president, I'm not going, I'm not voting for this. But maybe I should, now that you put it in those words.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I usually don't go to those. I don't vote in those elections, the local.
At this point in time, we could skip the next presidential election, in my opinion. But everybody needs to vote locally. And even in your state, if you want to vote for your state representation from your district and whatnot that's going to the state, the state house, then, I suggest that people do that. Like I said, the president, who gives a shit? They on some bozo shit anyway. It don't matter who it is. I mean, what you going to get? Like it's a term they like to use, man. I think it's funny. The lesser of two evils.
That's usually what happens.
Right. So evil is evil. It's just like demon time. It's just certain things I'm not going to give credence to. It's not certain words I'm getting ready to invoke the meaning of in my life. And that's one of them. Lesser of two evils. That doesn't move me. And that's kind of what separates me from other people is lesser of two evils don't move me. At all. Let's see who we got, man. Look, I got the phone lines open up. Let me go ahead, put the question up here tonight. I ain't even put the question up, man. But let's put the question up tonight. Do you feel safe under the current administration? And that can be your local administration, your state administration, or the federal administration. Feel free to call in 515-605-9708. I know Mobile feels like a less safe place this week. Hey, going into this weekend. Go ahead.
Let me ask you this, Mike. I don't know, because I skimmed through it, but I didn't really look into it. Don't you guys, well, not you, because you're not in Alabama at the moment either, but don't they have a new law where you can have a weapon and it does not have to be a registered gun?
Yes, they do.
Why? Why would you give people permission?
Yeah, you don't have to have a license anymore to carry.
You don't have to have a license?
It's not really giving folks permission. See, what's happened is you got to understand, and this is no offense to any of my white people out here that's my friends and whatnot, or people who just ain't on this shit, but I'm going to speak in very general terms. When white people are afraid, they need to cut all the red tape so nobody gets hemmed up with mandatory sentences. So in a way to get rid of all the red tape is to do what they did. Get rid of the red tape. They're actually doing it in Georgia as well.
So this is kind of like a stand your ground type of thing.
The stand your ground.
Kind of equivalent to a stand your ground.
Right.
Principle. Okay.
Right. But you know what stand your ground really translates to.
Right.
If you find me a black person, I'll just say you may find one. Find me 5 cases out of all the stand your ground cases and tell me what's usually the dynamic on the stand your ground cases.
Right. Yeah.
What's usually the dynamic on the stand your ground cases?
We all know what it usually is.
We know what it is. And we're not gonna spare anybody's feelings to not tell the truth. I'm sorry. I'm just not. It's time. As long as I'm not lying and talking about your mamas and all that, then, forgive me. But it's time for truth to reign through this. Back to where, go ahead.
No, I'm just going to ask. I still don't understand. So if somebody has an illegal weapon, so if it doesn't have to, you don't have to have a license, but do you have to at least register the weapon, like a serial number? Does anything have to be downtown to track that weapon? Or a kid, like a teenager that has, well, no, I'm not going to say a teenager, a 21-year, an adult, a young adult gentleman is in the car. He has a gun. How do we keep a record of that gun? I mean, if there's no license, is there at least some kind of a registration with the serial number that says this gun is?
When you buy a gun legally, yeah, because they're going to run your background. So you're still going to have to pass the background checks to buy the gun legally. Now, the question I have is, how do they determine whether the gun is legal or not?
If it's not registered.
Are they pulling everybody over and running gun serial numbers? Are these numbers going to some kind of database somewhere?
That's what I don't understand.
And they got every gun that you got in your house, in this database. I mean, what is it?
That's going to create more problems.
It's going to create more problems. But I'm going to tell people this, and I'm going to go out on a limb and say this. This is just the tip of the iceberg of what's coming. Now, I could go all the way into a tangent about everything, and we might actually get there tonight. We might actually go there tonight. I might actually go there tonight. I also got another question I want to put out there with folks. Have we taken the respect the shooter narrative too far? And those of you who from where I'm from know what we're talking about. We now have either grown kids, in a lot of situations, grandkids. We're the gangster rap generation. We're the ones who started it. We're the ones who opened the floodgates for it to come in. We're the ones who swallowed the slogans. Snitches get stitches. Stop snitching. Let the trash pile up in your neighborhood and don't get rid of it. Have we taken the respect the shooter narrative too far? It's one thing to root for the bad guy on a movie. I love Scarface. That's one of my favorite movies. Every time Scarface is on TV, I'm getting ready to plant my black ass somewhere and watch the whole thing until it goes off. I enjoy watching Tony Soprano. I enjoy watching The Villain, but that's television.
Right.
That gives me an opportunity to kind of express those sentiments and root for the bad guy. But I don't root for the bad guy in real life. And I think a lot of us, especially in our culture, have been pressured to have to root for the bad guy because we don't want to be ostracized. But if you look at it like house trash and rubbish, it needs to be transported from your curbside to the landfill to be forgotten about forever and ever and ever and ever. Never think about anything I threw away last week. But if it's piling up on your front yard, spill it over into your backyard. Now it's on the side of the house. Now it's up to the roof. This is essentially what we're doing. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I wasn't saying anything. Is that a call? I thought you had a caller. I heard that too, but it's not me. All I did was sniff.
I heard somebody.
I heard it, so I just did. That's all I did.
Oh man, do we have a ghost on here? Is this the FBI?
I said.
Is this the FBI? Are y'all on here?
Surprises me.
Hey, if y'all on here, man, shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to the FBI, the building. And I'm not talking about feminine, beautiful, and inspirational women. I'm talking about the real FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Yeah.
So if this country keeps it up, or I'm not just gonna say the country as a whole, but like down south, like Alabama, Mobile, where we're from, all those lower cities of the country and states, we're gonna be like Haiti before long if they don't get control of the crime. It's like the citizens gonna be running the whole city.
Somebody gonna have to run.
Yeah, this is getting bad.
Well, look,
and people are not afraid of cops anymore. So I mean, they let it get to the point where nobody respects them, and they ask for that because the way they've treated blacks so bad for so long. Till now people are retaliating. Even when a person is in the wrong, they feel justified to buck against the cops because they've been conditioned to feel like cops are, not good people. So they buck against them, regardless if they're right or wrong. So.
Well, I'm gonna tell you why cops got that. Cops earned every bit of that, right?
Right.
Cops earned their reputation, and I hate somebody that's supposed to be, waking up to protect and serve the people. My great uncle was a police officer. He was a damn good, honorable police officer as well. So, I have a spot in my heart for police and people that do the job. But that's people that do the job.
Right.
That's people that do the job. But a lot of times they're so in a hurry to be nasty. In Mobile, a lot of the cops are real nasty. They wanna talk shit.
Yeah.
They want to talk shit before they even see what's going on. They're not your friends. You are an enemy combatant to these folks, especially when them jump out boys was out and about. Those are some nasty motherfuckers. And I'll say it, and I'm glad they disbanded that shit. I think Mobile disbanded the jump out boys, but they were nasty. They would do some real low down shit. In which case, cops earn that reputation for people to not like you. Nobody likes assholes. Nobody.
Yeah,
and nobody should be forced to like assholes.
Yeah, because people don't treat firemen like that. People respect firemen because firemen usually do their job and they really help people. But when people see a blue uniform, they don't usually feel very comfortable. They don't really feel like they're going to get justice when they see you walking up in a blue uniform.
Because you're usually walking up after you were really needed.
Right.
You're not really there when people need you.
Right.
It's not like something happens to somebody and cops just run out of nowhere and protect them. Something happens to you, they come after the fact, whether you're dead or alive. They're going to get a report. They're going to get evidence. They may or may not work the case to their fullest. They may or may not put the resources in to work in the case. They may, fuck up on a technicality, which happens a lot because they don't know the law. They're not educated. So you can't reason with somebody that's not educated about what your rights are when they pull you over. So, because they don't know what your rights are. So y'all can't even come to any kind of common ground on where my rights begin and where your rights as a public servant end. So they mess up a lot of cases. They botch a lot of cases on technicalities, especially in Mobile. They got to throw out a lot of cases because the cops are basically not that great at their jobs. So they'll go get a snitch. They'll go get somebody an easy target, somebody that's going to give them some information and feed them some low-hanging fruit so they can get their numbers.
And that's making it bad for things like domestic violence and stuff too, because people are going to be afraid to call the police. You don't know if you call the police because you're getting beat up. You don't know if the police going to come. They're going to kill your husband, kill your children. You don't know what they're going to do when they get to the house. So a lot of people would rather just take it in their own hands because the police don't come to serve justice. There's always overkill when it's a black household. So
they show up to killers.
Right.
They show up
so
to
people
killers
are scared to call them.
Correct.
People would rather break up a fight themselves in the street than call the cops, and that's dangerous. Right. I know people would try to probably break up a gunfight before they call the cops, and they don't even have a gun because they don't want to get the police involved.
Right. But you got 70 shots fired at a vigil. You arrested somebody that had a gun. They weren't even shooting. See what I'm saying? I'm having a good old-fashioned angry black guy night tonight. For real, man. I hate to be like this, man, but this is serious stuff, man. This is our society. Dame Dash said some dope shit, though, man. Dame Dash said something dope. Let me read what Dame Dash said, because Dame Dash has the quote of the night. This was in Vibe magazine. Quote, this is Dame Dash, the ex-CEO of Rockefeller. Quote, I'm not trying to fit into somebody else's system. So we just create our own. So we ain't got to worry about nobody else's rules. Them is facts.
Where do you start, though? It sounds all well and good when Dame Dash says it. But when you go to your neighborhood community recreation center and you try to get black men in the neighborhood and young adult men and women to come up there and form some type of structured community action, it's not that easy. It sounds really nice, but how do you get people involved? People don't want to get involved.
Well, there's several things you have to do. And it's the same way you get people involved the same way that they got involved with going down the wrong path. You see what I'm saying? That's through media. That's through messaging.
Right.
You know, imagery, things like that. The things you can control those things. Those are things that you could control whether you consume them or not. You can actually put your brain on a diet and start vibrating at a higher frequency. And that's what I really be trying to tell these youngsters, man.
That's true.
Instead, we don't have a problem with y'all, man. We love y'all. Y'all are our next generation. But y'all have to vibrate at a much higher frequency in order for us to survive into the next generations. Y'all have to understand who y'all are. Y'all have to stop clutching on to and prioritizing how you like to get off sexually over being black and understanding the struggles and the things that come with being black. Now I'm gonna go into something about that as well, because this is actually a black show tonight, y'all. I'm sorry, y'all. It's a black show tonight. You know,
you gotta play some sound bites, Mike. We lagging behind with our sound bites tonight.
No, I got them. I got sound bites. I got sound bites. Well, let's talk about this Supreme Court justice. What do you think about the Supreme Court nominee?
I was
Brown Jackson.
I was very surprised to see another African American go against her.
Why?
Because usually, I'm just going to say this for most blacks, and I've noticed this to be our culture, not everybody, but sometimes we're so happy to see another black person get a position of power. I mean, we did it with Obama. A lot of people had never voted. They said, oh, we got a black man. They ran to vote just because he was black. They didn't know anything about him. So I just thought that her being black, that if somebody came out and said something against her getting the position, it would not be a person of color.
Right.
But because he's a person of color, it leads me to believe that what he's saying is probably valid, because I just don't see a black man trying to tear down. I'm not going to say he's tearing her down, but I don't see a black man trying to keep her from getting a position on the strength of what he's saying if it's not true, or if he doesn't feel a type of way. That's legit. Right. So.
Well, we're falling for it again. And I'm going to tell, and I'm going to go and put this out there, man. We have to look like the dumbest people in the world if we go for this bullshit again. Because, like you said, and I'm not disparaging anybody for feeling this way. Trust me, I've been there. But we have to stop making every black person that get a job represent all of us, because they're not. And I'm going to explain why I'm against Ketanji Brown Jackson.
Okay.
And I'm not against her for the reason that y'all women against Clarence Thomas. See, we know why black women are against Clarence Thomas. They've been against him since he was trying to get confirmed. That's what they used against him. Clarence Thomas came straight out and said, this is a high-tech lynching, and them motherfuckers backed off because the brother was too smart. But Clarence Thomas doesn't get half the credit. And I'm not saying I agree with all of Clarence Thomas's decisions or his way of looking at the Constitution. Right. But a lot of things are valid that he says. If you actually sit back and listen to him, he's a smart guy. I can't really say that this woman is exuding the type of brilliance that a Supreme Court justice needs to exude. Taking both sides of an argument is
both
not,
sides?
Yeah, she take both sides of the argument.
You cannot straddle the fence. You got to pick a side and stay on that side.
She's really slick with her words. But what I want to look at, despite, you know, because a lot of that's wordplay, a lot of those Republicans are talking crazy and trying to play good cop, bad cop, and, you know, they're playing mind games with her. She's probably going to get nominated, or probably going to get confirmed. She's going to be on the Supreme Court. But now that she's on the Supreme Court and everybody's happy, I want to know why you're happy.
I just told you why. The culture of black people is to automatically, what you just said, automatically think because she's skin folk, she's right.
Right. And we're making a strategical error by not understanding that can be weaponized.
That's true.
We still got folks that don't believe Obama had any ill will toward black people. But when Obama didn't give us reparations, it was pretty much over with. We didn't even push him for him because we were so enthralled with, he's swagged out. He got a swagger.
He got a great suit on today.
He got a nice suit, man. Look,
he wore tan. First place he
can play basketball. He a lefty. We ain't get shit.
But I did like Obama. Now, I can't let you talk about my man.
Man, please.
I did like Obama.
Yeah. First of all, man, that nigga wasn't the president, dog. Purple lips, my nigga. Really? I know I can't talk. I smoke too. Purple lips. You light-skinned it. You can't be light-skinned and have purple lips, my nigga. I'm sorry. Your gums look like Whoopi Goldberg, but you light-skinned.
What you think he was doing, Mike? Just come on out and say it.
He smoked cigarettes.
When he first came in office, wasn't he a smoker? Was that him or Bill Clinton? Somebody was a smoker.
He's still a smoker. He still smokes cigarettes.
What about brand he smoked?
Oh, Marlboro Lights. Hey, yeah, when I heard that shit, I'm like, we fucked.
I'm not dealing with you. I can't.
When I heard that, like, Obama smokes cigarettes. Oh, shit, the brother smoked squares. Back in the day, I'm young.
That's why they voted for him, because he was so down to earth.
You smoke squares. Be like, what kind of squares you smoke, Obama? My Marlboro Lights. Oh, shit.
If he said about going to ask him for no short, about smoking no Marlboro.
Hey, unless you ain't got no cigarettes.
If he didn't have Newports, nobody was going to ask him for none.
Yeah, man. Shit, I would have rather him said he smoked Winston's.
Cool Filter King.
Yeah, Cool Filter King, something. Benson and Hedges. I could have went with the Salems or the Benson and Hedges, dog. Like, he looked like a Benson and Hedges. He tried to give you the Benson and Hedges with the little gin on the rocks and tonic, with a little cigarette. The commercial they used to be in the Jet magazine when they was promoting and marketing that shit to us like that. This nigga smoke Marlboro Lights.
Did he really say this, Mike? Or are you being funny?
Barack Obama smokes Marlboro Lights.
I know he used to be a smoker, but I never knew we knew a brand.
Oh, no, he's still a smoker. So
because he got purple lips, mean he a smoker.
We're back in that situation again, man. And I've heard women that say, I'm not going to publicly say anything against another black woman. And while I respect that to an extent, I have to tell you where I disagree with that at, because that becomes your representation, and then y'all be stuck with it.
That's true.
Now, if this fool get up to the Supreme Court and start acting a damn fool, what are y'all going to do about it at that point in time?
Nothing we can do. Once she's in there, she's in there.
She's in there. She might get in there, and she's big on precedent too. And I want to talk about this particular case that for those who don't know, the first black federal judge in Alabama, Uriah W. Clemens, he warned Biden. He wrote a letter to Biden about Ketanji Brown Jackson. He wrote a letter urging Joe Biden not to nominate her. And this is why. So let's talk about this. Exactly why. And now I'm going to do some reading. So this is from News Onyx. And it states, this was February 17th, 2022. It states, black federal judge asked President Biden not to appoint Ketanji Brown Jackson to Supreme Court. Alabama's first black federal judge, Uriah W. Clemens, advised President Joe Biden, not to nominate Washington, D.C. Circuit Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson to serve on the U.S. Supreme Court. Clemens penned a letter to the president on Friday, February 4th, saying he shouldn't appoint Jackson. I strongly believe that Circuit Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson should not be appointed by you as the first black female justice of the Supreme Court of the United States, he wrote. He even said he's happy about Biden's decision to nominate the first black woman to the U.S. Supreme Court. The president announced the fantastic news in January as he honored retiring Supreme Court Justice Stephen Breyer. So let's see. This is Uriah Clemens quote again. As one who labored in the vineyards of civil rights all of his life, I rejoice in your determination to appoint the first black female to the United States Supreme Court, Clemens said. In the tradition of Thurgood Marshall, hopefully she will stand tall for equal justice for all and equality in the workplace. However, according to his letter, he felt Jackson didn't deserve the position due to her conduct during a 2016 lawsuit, Ross versus Lockheed, which is Lockheed and Martin, the major military contractor, Lockheed and Martin. So the class action lawsuit was filed against Lockheed Martin on behalf of 5,500 black employees who accused the company of discriminating against African-American workers, among other things. Lockheed has engaged in a pattern or practice of systemic intentional discrimination against African-American salaried employees, the lawsuit said. Jackson, Ketanji Brown Jackson, reportedly declined to approve an already negotiated settlement that would have awarded $22 million. Let me read that again. Jackson reportedly declined to approve an already negotiated settlement that awarded $22 million to the plaintiffs. Clement hammered this point home when he said that the money would have addressed the root cause of a systemic racial bias that could have been a model for the nation hungry for racial equality solutions. So I have to repeat that last paragraph. Jackson reportedly declined to approve an already negotiated settlement that would have awarded $22 million to the plaintiffs. Clement hammered this point home when he said that the money would have addressed the root cause of systemic racial bias that could have been a model for a nation hungry for racial equality solutions. This is why I can't fool with Ketanji Brown Jackson.
Can I say a bad word? Some bad words? That's
ahead.
some real hoe shit she did. That sounds like she didn't want some black people to have more money than her. Because why would you do that if it's already approved? Why the hell would you not? I mean, if it was already negotiated, why would you not put your signature?
Right.
All we need is your John Hancock, and you're going to stop this?
She stopped
it. Somebody should have beat her ass.
She stopped it.
That's bad business.
He stopped it. So let me finish reading it. He also told Biden to take what each aspirant has done for justice and equality into consideration as he searched for someone to appoint to the highest court in the land. Jackson's spokesperson reportedly said that Clement served as counsel at Mary Scarlett and representing Ross versus Lockheed case plaintiffs. So they saying he was part of the suit that brought the suit against Lockheed. The 78-year-old later said, that the White House had not yet responded to the letter. However, they issued a statement confirming that Jackson would be under consideration. How do y'all think she's going to vote when it comes to reparations?
Against it. She's not going to give, if she has to put her name on giving people something, especially if she feels like it's something that they didn't earn, she's not going to give it.
And she married to a zaddy. So even if she's thinking about it, all zaddy got to do is give her a good rogering, and she'll change her mind.
And I think didn't we discuss this before about, she's the same one we talked about before when you said all of the women that were candidates were married, were in interracial marriages.
Most of them, yeah.
Right.
So most of these women, these black women, they're going to put in there are under the control of a white guy. So, I mean, pillow talk, it's still the same thing. It's like the vice president. Not saying there's anything wrong with interracial marriages.
Right.
But do you not think that's coincidental? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Isn't that kind of strange?
Sometimes, though, interracial marriages, sometimes your spouse can be on the same page as you. It kind of like all depends.
Are you willing to take that risk?
I told you already, I only vote for the president. But I mean, this is not a voting type thing, so it really doesn't matter. But I'm just saying, I really don't. I should, but I don't really get invested in things like that. I probably should, but I mean,
well, we can't vote for her anyway.
Right,
so,
exactly. That's what I said.
It's not
I just really don't really
that's up
worry.
to us.
Right. We can't.
What I'm telling everybody is why we celebrating in the streets.
Right.
Think about what your actual what your position is and things that we might be advocating for. Even if you don't want reparations, don't undermine those of us who do. Because you got them niggas too. Oh, I don't want reparations. I'm fine. I don't need it. Slavery was hundreds of years ago. As if Jim Crow wasn't around when my mom was born. My mother was born in Jim Crow.
It wasn't as long ago as people pretend it was. It wasn't that long ago. It was not that long ago.
It wasn't long ago at all. My mama, who I could pick up the phone and call, she ain't no slave or nothing like that. She was born in Jim Crow.
Right.
In Alabama.
A lot of those people are alive and well and still functioning and walking around living their lives. So that tells you that it was not a long time ago.
And a lot of them are voting us into oblivion right now as we speak. We're going to talk about our older generation, refusal to read, refusal to acknowledge facts, but then want to go jump into a voting booth. We're going to talk about it because I notice I get a lot of vibes like that off of a lot of my older ancestors that are still here. I get a lot of them vibes, man, and be honest, man, people in the middle age group aren't really liking it because when you vote, you're voting in blocks of years.
Right.
And, it's only a certain amount of years that equal a generation. We won't be here in another 3 generations if we continue down the path we're going. 17 shootings in Mobile, Alabama. Come on. How long do you think that'll take?
In 72 hours, it was 17, you said, Mike.
Right, 72 hours.
That's 3 days.
So, gone unchecked, or when the shit really hits the fan, and it's about to. Those of you who are alive right now don't even understand what you're witnessing right now. You're witnessing the things that you read about in your history books.
But what
you're
say we got to do?
All of that right now.
What we got to do, though?
You got to fire your history teacher. Exactly. Now, history does not repeat itself, but history does rhyme. History has a harmony. There are harmonics in history. So something may sound real familiar about Europeans that go to war. That's why they're so concerned about this. And I just saw a story that 100,000 Ukrainians are on their way to the United States of America. So while they pulling away at your heartstrings to bring people in and put them ahead of you, black man, black woman, they're going to give them money. They're going to cake them up when they get here, but they're going to tell you there's no money for reparations. I got somebody. People got to understand just how low down this damn beast is. And that's my nice way of putting it.
Not to be stereotypical, but when they bring those people in, I wonder what kind of businesses they're gonna open. You know how like Asians, we kind of typically know what they're gonna open up. They all get free money when they come. So what are they gonna be known for when they come over here? What are they gonna open up? What are they gonna put in our communities that we didn't put in our communities?
Man, Ronnie,
Spanish people and Arabs bring their stores, their bodegas, their little delis, and their little corner stores. Asians bring their nail salons and fish markets. What are the Ukrainians going to bring that we can't do for ourselves? I'm just curious. What's their niche?
That I don't know. I really can't even go there without being offensive to somebody. I already know somebody going to complain if I tell you what niche they fulfill. I'm going to be honest. I really don't know. But whatever it is, I don't think it's going to be meant for the betterment of black people. And the immigrants, y'all can stay, y'all can do y'all thing. I'm gonna tell you, we're gonna talk about immigrants here too and what they got going on in Jamaica, man. That's truly interesting shit that's going on in Jamaica right now with the royal family being snubbed, but we're gonna get into that a little bit later. I want to show you just how low down your media is and how the power of suggestion can turn you against somebody who may actually be talking in your best interest.
Right.
And I thought this was funny because
he made kind of a provocative comment in your book here, Mug, and I think it's on page.
So everybody's cool with George Stephanopoulos, right? You see George.
He made kind of a provocative.
George Stephanopoulos on the morning news on Sunday, and most black people, I'm George, that's my boy, man. I'm listening to George. I've heard people say this. I like George Stephanopoulos and this and that. If you say the name Ann Coulter, what do you think when you hear the name Ann Coulter?
I'm like Whitney Houston. I don't think of her.
Right. Most people think Ann Coulter's racist. For those of you, it's kind of a grainy video, but that's Ann Coulter right there, the blonde-haired, tall, skinny lady that writes books. But I want y'all to hear, and of course you see George Stephanopoulos, and you see all the little liberal people right there. It's even a sister right there. It look like a sister right there. But I want y'all to listen to Ann Coulter, okay?
He made kind of a provocative comment in your book here, Mug, and I think it's on page 151. You write that various groups, feminist, gay rights groups, and those who are defending immigrants have commandeered the black civil rights experience. What do you mean by that?
Yes, I'm glad you asked that because I think it's one of the most important points of the book. I mean, I think the way liberals have treated blacks like children and many of their policies have been harmful to blacks. At least they got the beneficiary group right. We do have to, we shouldn't. There is the legacy of slavery and Jim Crow laws. We don't owe the homeless. We don't owe feminists. We don't owe women who are desirous of having abortions, but or gays who want to get married to one another. That's what civil rights has become for much of the left. They dropped the blacks after 5 minutes.
Immigrant rights are not civil rights?
No, I think civil rights are for blacks.
See, this is essentially the problem, and the Republicans don't understand.
What have we done to the immigrants? We owe black people something. We have a legacy of slavery. Immigrants haven't even been in this country.
That's Ann Coulter.
I like what she said.
The most hated Republican, right-wing scum. This is the only white person I've heard that actually said that.
That goes back to what I was saying. Sometimes, even when there's an interracial marriage, the spouse can be on our sides because not all white people are bad against us.
I'm not saying she's necessarily on our side. She
recognizes, right, but she recognizes, right, and that's a start. If we can get more people to start right where she started.
Do you know something? Anybody that recognizes the difference between right and wrong should be on our side when it comes to this.
That's
but
exactly
how many
right.
Liberal people that these Democrats aren't?
And then they tried to hem her up. You don't think that this is civil rights? When you think about the civil right movement, which is what I think that's what she meant. They missed the point. When you think of the civil rights movement, you think of Martin Luther King, you think of blacks. And I think that's the point she was trying to drive home. It's not that these other rights aren't civil by definition, but civil rights in the United States, the face of that is black people. I understand exactly what she meant. He missed the entire point.
And we're the only people America owes something to. So you're not going to soften my heart up with no Ukrainian orphans. I could give a fuck less. I'm just going to be honest. I don't give a fuck.
So how are they screening these people that they're bringing over? Are they bringing over women and children? Are they bringing over criminals? Are they clearing their, what's the screening process? Who determines is it a fair process? Are you bringing in the sick and disabled? Who gets to come here for refuge? I don't understand. How are they going to do this?
Right. I don't know.
Because you don't need to just bring over a bunch of sick and disabled people. You need to bring over people that's going to come over here and get jobs and not take our welfare. Because you're complaining about black people taking food stamps and welfare. You're going to bring over
welfare.
another burden?
They're going to get welfare unless you're rich in your home country and you immigrate to the United States, which I don't know why the fuck you would do that. It's usually poor people that come. They get welfare. And I'm tired of that being posted and left at our doorstep. It's several things that we as black people aren't going to continue to allow to be left on our doorstep. The use of welfare and the use of the system, like I said, we're the only people here that the system owes anything to.
How many is Canada taking? How many is Great Britain taking? I mean, are we the only people that's taking Ukrainians? Are we the only ones opening up our borders to them?
I mean, why don't they just stay in Poland, man, so you can go back home one day? Why not? Like, if I'm, if I need to run from the storm, man, I'm gonna go to Mississippi or whatever, and then I'll come back home. Take your ass back home.
I mean, not that I'm against immigrants, because we all came from somewhere. I mean, I know a lot of us as blacks came as slaves. A lot of us, most of us came from heritage that were forced to come here. But all of us are mixed with something. We had people that, were not forced to come here, that just decided they wanted to come here for a better life. So, I mean, I'm not against immigration.
Immigrated,
right.
But like a lot of us, the Alabamas, the people that treat the people back, we from this motherfucker.
That's right.
We from here. This is our land. Nobody can prove anything otherwise. Why do you think they make a difference between the people that live in Africa Town and the regular black people in Mobile? If we all came from Africa.
Right. Why do they?
Because we didn't all come from Africa. A lot of us were already here. Fire your history teacher.
Because when they start talking about the Clotilda and all of this stuff, they always want to talk about Africa Town.
Well, the Clotilda is African people from Benin.
Right, but they never, like you said, they never mention, when they start talking about African people in Mobile, they only talk about that particular area, like you just said.
Right.
They don't talk about down the bay. They don't talk about any other area. They talk about Africa Town. That's what they focus on.
Right. They don't talk about none of the black folks from up in the county. None of that.
Right. Hey, Diane.
Diane in the building.
I love when Diane joins.
But Ann Coulter is somebody that we've been taught to hate in the media just because she's on Fox. I was a victim of this. I'm not sitting up saying like I'm on some kind of high horse. I was a victim of this propaganda. But what she said was exactly damn right.
I wonder how much backlash she got at home, like from her family and friends, her peers, her close family and friends.
Probably nothing she couldn't handle.
Yeah, she seems pretty feisty.
Over 50 years of enslaved in Mobile prior to the Clotilda.
Absolutely. Thank you, Diane, because I never thought about it. I was never really aware. And those people that were enslaved,
slavery in Mobile before that.
Right. But the Clotilda was actually the last ship to come into port. That's why we give it so much attention, correct? That was the last slave ship to come into Mobile, right?
Right. That was the last slave ship.
The last.
Nobody else's African heritage gets talked about. So how often were slave ships coming into Mobile for that to be the most memorable one?
I think it's because, like Sabrina, I think Sabrina mentioned one week that one of the people that, did she say one of the ladies that came was still alive, or somebody in her family that represented her was still alive and able to speak on it?
I don't know.
I feel like we had that conversation with her, so I'm thinking that that's why they focus on that, because they still have people with heritage from that voyage over. I don't want to call it a voyage, but I guess it was a voyage, an unwanted voyage, but it was a voyage.
Right. The people that came over on the Clotilda were only enslaved for 5 years.
Okay.
Before 1865. What's even funnier, what's even crazier is you got people running around there with the same last name as those people that's living in Mobile right now with millions of dollars.
Because that was their slave owners, right? That was their masters.
That was their owners. That was people that came and kidnapped you. You know who they are. Give me one moment, Ronnie. I'm gonna drop off for 1 second, okay?
You're gonna leave me here to hold down the show, and I'm sick.
No, I'm not gonna leave you here to hold it down.
Don't leave me, please.
I'm not gonna leave you here to hold it down. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run a quick commercial, but I need to run in.
All right.
I'll be right back.
All right.
All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. I don't know if y'all noticed. I've been popping beers all night, man. It's a good conversation. Shout out to y'all, man. Got some good stuff going on in the comments as well. Hey, Ronnie, I'm gonna put it on mute. Mobile's history is fascinating and under talked about. Yeah, absolutely. It is fascinating. And Mobile's future is going to be fascinating as well, because like I said, you finally had the mayor that came out and admitted that the justice system or the judicial system is broken. It is broken, and he asked for help. What are we going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Give us a call, man, 515-605-9708, 515-605-9708. We're talking about, I mean, it's kind of going into what the reality of the situation is of people coming from the deep, deep South. People coming from the deep, deep South, man, black people. So this is real shit. This is the real struggle. And now the world gets the opportunity to see it. We're not just crazy complaining race baiters after all. Now they love to tell you race baiting. Oh, you're race baiting. Oh, the only racists here are black people. I've been hearing that a lot lately too. But it comes from the same people that coined the term reverse racism. So if racism don't exist, how does reverse racism exist?
That's true.
Man, look, I'm finna put these Crocs on, man. I got my Jordans on. I usually start the show off. But those of you who don't know, I wear a different pair of Jordans. Not different every show, but I try to switch up Jordans. I usually have on Air Jordans when I'm doing the show. And that's for morale purposes. But I actually found out about the Crocs, man, and I like sport mode on the Crocs. Feel a lot better on the feet.
My middle son loves Crocs. Yeah, Every time I wear Crocs, I feel like I twist my ankle. I cannot walk in Crocs for some reason. I always have some kind of problem that day.
Oh, no, you better not do that.
I can't even wear nursing clogs. I always twist my ankle.
Oh, no.
I have to wear tennis shoes to work.
I'm about to say you be wearing them big, the old nurse shoes.
No, you know they have the different color ones, the cute ones with like the designs. I can't even wear those.
Man, Amber Alert put me on these Crocs. It's over with. It's over with. I want to read this. just to kind of, just kind of dig in and let everybody know that I'm not just being unfair to the sister about this Supreme Court justice situation. I'm not against a black woman being on the Supreme Court, but I really am against the fact that they want to keep a black man away from having any influence on the Supreme Court. Does that make sense? In the form of her husband and, being able to actually, talk about things from a black standpoint. So this is Bloomberg Politics. This was March 21st, 2022. And it's by Chris Dolmetsch. And it says, Jackson rulings in favor of business may stem pro-union critics. And I actually put this yesterday on my Facebook page, so feel free to go read the article yourself. It says U.S. Supreme Court nominee Ketanji Brown Jackson has issued relatively few rulings on business matters while serving as a federal judge. The opinion she did release showed a tendency to support organized labor, but also a willingness to rule in favor of corporations. Once again, that both sides of the argument type shit. You see what I mean? How can she be doing both? Anybody that mentions that you're doing both is automatically trying to take an intellectually dishonest position on something. She's not been all the way on the left, said Oscar A. Gomez, partner at EPGD Business Law. Jackson, 51, is set to appear before the Senate Judiciary Committee Monday and start 40 generation. Yeah, we know that she's going through that now. But a review of her ruling shows when it comes to business issues, Jackson often followed precedent. There's a precedent that reparations hadn't gotten paid. So, like I said, what do you think Jackson's going to follow on the Supreme Court? On several occasions, she was supportive of organized labor, but she also ruled in favor of corporations such as Lyft, Inc. and Lockheed Martin Corporation. Now, keep in mind, Lockheed Martin plant, where this all originated from, was shot up. It was 6 black people, or 6 people killed at the Lockheed plant. 5 of the 6 people killed were black by a white supremacist who had been telling people he was going to kill people.
Telling people on the job site?
Telling people on the job site he was coming to kill people.
Wow.
Let's look at that story. Lockheed Martin shooting. It occurred July 8th, 2003 at Lockheed Martin plant in Meridian, Mississippi. The gunman was Douglas Williams, an assembly line worker at the plant. He shot 14 of his co-workers with the shotgun, killing 6 of them before committing suicide. After the shooting, information surfaced depicting Williams' history of making threats and racist comments directed at African-American co-workers. 5 of the 6 killed in the incident were black. The incident was the deadliest workplace shooting in the U.S. since December of 2000, when Michael McDermott killed 7 co-workers at the Edgewater Technology Center in Wakefield, Massachusetts. So here we go. Let's go. On the day of the shooting, Williams attended a mandatory ethics and diversity class together with 13 others. According to some colleagues, he arrived at the plant in a very agitated state and made threats to kill other co-workers. Others who they said they talked to him prior to the shooting stated that he gave no indication that anything was wrong. Williams only stayed at the meeting a few minutes. After having a normal conversation with his colleague, Al Collier, who he described as friendly little talk, Williams suddenly stormed out the room saying, "Y'all can handle this," telling his supervisor, Jeff McWilliams, that he would take matters into his own hands. Williams went to retrieve several guns from his pickup truck. At approximately 9:30 a.m., he entered the room yelling, "I told y'all to stop fucking with me. Didn't I tell y'all to stop fucking with me?" And began shooting. He first killed Mickey Fitzgerald, who tried to calm him down with a shot in the face, before turning his attention to the group of 4 co-workers on the floor. Williams killed Sam Cockrell, who he believed made complaints about him to management. He wounded Al Collier, who was shot in the back in the right hand. He also wounded Charles Scott and fatally wounded Dolores Bailey when she tried to flee. Steve Cobb, the plant manager, as well as Brad Bynum, Chuck McReynolds, and Brenda Dubose, whose head and hand were grazed by bullet fragments, were also wounded by ricochet. Williams then went out of the room and returned after a short while and searching for calling Jack and for Jack Johns, the production manager, continued shooting. I don't understand that. Williams eventually left the annex and headed for the main factory. Let me see here. Let's get to the motive. I don't want to give y'all blow by blow descriptions of this crime scene. But basically, he said that Williams had a history of making conflicts with his co-workers and management. One describing Williams as being mad at the world. Local law enforcement stated that the incident had no clear motive, with Lauderdale County Sheriff Billy Solly, that sounds like a racist name, Billy Solly. There was no indication it involved race or gender as far as the targets were concerned, even though 5 of the 6 black people people were killed.
And it's at a cultural diversity meeting, right?
Yeah.
That's what that's about, right? It's about race and ethnicity.
Right. Further investigations were conducted in the days and months after the shooting. It surfaced that black co-workers of Williams had receiving numerous threats and disturbing incidents to management, causing Lockheed Martin to open its own investigation prior to the shooting. In 2001, Thomas Willis reported being intimidated by Williams. An investigator was called in, whom Willis reported at least 3 examples of racially motivated death threats. Another black employee, Aaron Hobson, also reported a threat. He said, one of these days I'm going to come in and kill a bunch of niggas.
Mike,
but then I'm
stop
going
with
to
your
kill
delivery.
myself.
I'm sorry. Mike.
No, this is what it says. This is
Mike, y'all, pardon me. I don't want people to think that I'm laughing because people were killed, because it's just your delivery, Mike. What you said is so serious, but you delivered it like, what he said was like,
I'm sorry, man. I'm not trying to be
because you paint the picture that this is normal what he did, because for him it sounds like that was normal. It sounds like that was his personality, very like dry. What's that personality that people, I can't even think of what I'm trying to say.
I've worked with these guys for my life. I've
seen people like that. That's why it's kind of funny, because you're delivering it he probably has a very flat effect. I'm seeing somebody in my mind that's very flat all the time. And the way you're reading it, it's doing it for me. I by no means am laughing at because somebody lost their life. This is a very sad situation. So I don't want anybody to get that misunderstood at all.
It's me putting a little theatrics on it, y'all.
Yeah.
It's me putting a little theatrics on it.
Delivery.
A month before the shooting, while he was on the factory floor, Williams put a white work booty on his head in imitation of a Ku Klux Klan hood. Hours later, an assistant plant manager asked him to remove it. Williams refused and demanded to know who had reported him, in which case, he told on him. Told either to remove the hood or leave, Williams left, taking an additional week off of work without permission. When he returned, he was allowed to return. He was ordered to attend a diversity and anger management course that he refused. So this motherfucker's still at work. So regardless of how many black folks complain about racial situations with these motherfuckers, he's still at work. Do you see what I'm saying the situation is here? He refused. He left work, took an extra week, came back. They told him to attend diversity classes. He refused, and this motherfucker's still at work.
Mike, the diversity classes was probably for him in particular, because when you have certain behaviors at work, they don't really want to pinpoint a certain employee, but what they'll say is, we're going to have a meeting. We're going to talk about these things. He's probably the reason that they had the meeting. That's why he was so angry and like saying all those things. But I mean, aloof, that's the word I was trying to find. He seems like a person that had a very aloof type personality.
Yeah. So he refused to go to anger management and racial diversity. They kept him there. A month before the shooting, while he was on the factory floor, I already saw that. Okay.
But he sounds like the type of person that had they fired, he was still going to return and carry out that mission. He seems like somebody that would get that angry, that was going to do that regardless if they reprimanded him or not.
This man had a list that he called the good niggas and the bad niggas.
Wow.
And his computer login was revealed to be white power. And Ketanji Brown Jackson when an already negotiated $22 million settlement came from Lockheed Martin to these black folks, she had questions.
What was her concern about them? What was she against about it? Did they ever say why she didn't want them to have it? What was her position?
Her position was basically there was no way to prove that racism and discrimination affected each of those people equally. So see, you one of them Harvard niggas. And there's something very wrong with people, black people that come out of Harvard. I don't know when Harvard became a thing for black folks. I guess after, hundreds of years of slavery. But I don't understand when Harvard became this well-respected institution in the mind of black folks. Damn near every black person that's come out of Harvard has had some fucked up way of thinking.
You think that's the only Ivy League like that? How do you feel about like Yale?
The Ivy League is white supremacy league. I say it.
But we can't say that fairly because they'll turn around and say that our HBCUs are the same thing. So we can't fairly say that.
There's no such thing as black supremacy.
That's true, but I mean, we can't still say that because
where are all these things?
That will be the rebuttal.
Why are all of these weird-minded, bloviating, want to be smart, philosophical, quasi-philosophical motherfucking niggas coming from? First of all, the first dude, the black dude that graduated from Harvard was W.E.B. Du Bois. And, I understand he's a hero the most, but if you really get into it, he had a very fucked up backward way of thinking. A very elitist way of thinking about other black folk.
Wow.
And actually wound up dying in Ghana. But that was Marcus Garvey's biggest, that was his antithesis, was Du Bois. Or what we like to call the boule. That's a whole nother topic. Whole nother topic. But so far you're seeing what's going down. You're seeing how it's going down. If this woman actually has reparations come across her bench, her and Clarence Thomas, what do you think they're going to say? So then again, I asked the question, what does their blackness really mean? What does her blackness mean to us? Please give me something tangible.
When you say it like that, all of our political people that usually have good answers for us, like Noble and Miss Texas, they're not here to give us their take on it tonight. Because they usually will tell us, give us a different position.
Yep. What up, man? My sister Tasha in the building. What up, sis?
I was just telling her hello. That's what I'm doing now. Telling her hello.
Right. So, the royal family or representatives of the royal family went to Jamaica, in which case it was William and Kate went to Jamaica. I guess they thought they were finna stop through and check on their little white supremacy and white privilege. And they were pretty much snubbed by the Jamaicans and basically ambushed and asked to apologize for slavery. So first things, two things. I don't care what nobody say. Queen Elizabeth is not alive.
You've been saying that too, Mike. Now you got me thinking about your conspiracy theory.
Have you seen her?
So what do you think is going to be the big reveal to tell us this lady is deceased? Or what's the holdup with telling the world that this lady is dead?
Things like this. Like showing up in the island nation that was part of your empire and the motherfucker like, yo, apologize for slavery and pay us. Or get the fuck out.
Because it was a time when they would have never said something like that to a royal.
It's going down right now, man. And actually, Prince William actually came real close to admitting about the royal family's involvement in slavery. Because see, these people, the people that we sit back and try to worship, the queens and princes and all that shit, these people were direct support. They were direct beneficiaries of slavery.
That's why they don't fool with Harry, because Harry probably would have apologized. He probably would have acknowledged the involvement. That's why they shut his mouth. Because he seemed like he don't bite his tongue.
Diane, call back in. Call back in, Diane. I'm sorry. I wasn't on the screen. I was looking at these things that we were writing.
Oh, Diane calling us?
Yeah, Diane, call back in, Diane. Sorry about that. 515-605-9708. Yeah, we love to have you tune in to what we're talking about. Tap into what
of course.
But yeah, where's Queen Elizabeth through all of this?
Maybe she's incapacitated.
Yeah.
Because people around that age start getting, especially, did she have COVID? COVID treats everybody differently. Some people around her age get demented from COVID. It treats everybody differently. Maybe she's not in her right mind.
Yeah, here go Diane right here.
Hey, Mike.
Diane, what's up? What's up?
Diane.
How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Good.
Beautiful spring day. I got the windows open. I'm chilling out. I just tuned in and see y'all.
Oh yeah, yeah, man. We're getting heavy tonight, Diane. What's good with you?
Yeah.
Woo. Well, it's good. I've been. Y'all were talking about Clotilda when I first tuned in, and so many other things. Talking about Mobile, but I've been reading the book. Well, there were other books written before, but since it was the actual ship itself was discovered, Ben Raines, who I follow because I kayak and do all that stuff. And he discovered the ship, and he wrote the book about Clotilda. And he went to Benin and followed the path of Clotilda and wrote about it. And he wrote about the people that came over. And I went to get it signed. I went to Africa Town, and I'm sorry, I've been getting up for a cold too, some extra.
Okay.
Of course, but and I met him, and I went to the ancestors of the Clotilda festival about a month ago. And it was just amazing, beautiful experience to be in Africa Town and start to understand the perspective of what is the story of it.
Right.
And and it is interesting because it's a stark difference between the people that came over on that ship versus people who have been living under the system, the industry. The transatlantic slave trade had been closed down, outlawed in America for over 50 years before the Clotilda went over.
Right.
So it was a bet that was made by, it was definitely just
it was a bet.
The law.
What was his name? Timothy Mayer, Mahear, whatever. Mayer. Yeah. Man, we got Ed. We got Ed Dudek in the house, man. What up, Ed?
Hey, Ed.
Shout out to Ed. Yeah, man. Ed, man, that's a good friend of mine, man. He's my mom's neighbor, man. He hold it down for my mom, man. So he's
that's
good
sweet.
people, man. Glad to have him on.
I miss y'all. I miss your mama too.
Oh yeah, man. She coming back.
I know it's a fascinating story though, Mike. So much that you're talking, and then
Diane, I gotta ask you. It's a fascinating story. I get it. But do you think that it's right that those people are still in Africa Town and that the mayors are multimillionaires in Mobile and haven't paid them people anything?
Oh, of course not. And have you seen there was another documentary, and you may have heard of it, but I hadn't heard of it, and I just recently watched it, called the Maids of Mirth, and it's about Mobile Mardi Gras.
Oh,
so I highly suggest checking that out. Which was you probably heard of it.
I got a book about Mobile Mardi Gras, man. I just have not wanted to get any blowback from all of my party people who like to go party, man.
Well,
but there's no way in the world why a black person should be celebrating Mardi Gras in Mobile. Yeah. No reason in the world a black person should be celebrating Mardi Gras in Mobile.
No, wait, Mike, tell me your question again about Clotilda.
No, I'm just saying, is it right that the mayors get to sit around there and run business and get paid, and his grandkids and great grandkids got money, and these people were literally kidnapped by them, and this crime is gone unsolved?
But isn't that a federal government problem, Mike, not local?
Ship.
I mean, it's really a civil matter.
And on display for museum, some of the city and state officials want to just build a platform over it. But you know, there's a conversation going on here about whether or not to pull the whole thing up and make a world-renowned museum in Africatown to help benefit that community, which was divided by the bridge that went up just about 10, 15 years ago.
What is the Cochrane Bridge?
Yeah.
By that community.
I just say just make the family that kidnapped them pay.
Well, it certainly would be a good thing to bring to light the truth of
Those people directly benefited off of slavery.
Yeah.
It could be proven.
Right.
And it makes for a good story, but this is real, you know, this is a crime against humanity.
Right.
Zora Neale Hurston wrote a book called Barracoon. Read Barracoon by Zora Neale Hurston.
Critical race theory too, because I heard somebody tell me that today or last night that, you know, but what a lot of people are being told that critical race theory means is that everyone is inherently racist. And so that's not going to go over well with most people. But like most people don't want to talk about blind spot or white fragility, they don't want to talk about it. So to find a way to balance out that conversation and you know, would be beneficial, I think, to everyone.
It's really no way to balance out the racism situation or conversation. And I kind of resent the fact that, you know, the politicians have gotten involved in this critical race theory thing and made it into something that it shouldn't be. I'm not a fan of critical race theory either, because the critical race theory is just the LGBT thing. And if you read the book, that's what it's really about. That's what it's about. It's just a crowbar using something to get black people riled up to crowbar LGBT things in. Like I said, I don't mind people having their own civil movement, but you know, get down in the streets and put in the work to get your social change that you want to see. I just personally haven't seen these people be
about in culture with the civil rights movement. Yeah, don't muddy it up.
It's being muddied up.
Such a point, because that's exactly what politicians do. They muddy it up with our emotional, the things that impassion us. Then they confuse it by bombing it all together. You know?
Right. Yeah. It's all jumbled together. Nobody has any clarity on anything. Somebody could literally sit up to somebody that's a descendant of a slave. Even in, like I said, in Mobile. Right there, you actually got people that could walk down and talk to the people that they kidnap and tell them to pull themselves up by their bootstraps and that they ain't got nothing for them. Yeah. And I mean, come on, man. This is
exactly when you learn. But and what I say about the story being fascinating, also, is the fact that these are just people. You know what I mean? If you have any kind of empathy whatsoever, can you imagine your life being disrupted to the degree? I mean, that's like putting it mildly, right?
Right.
But you know, it's like most people don't like to think about the unpleasant things in life, and especially with it happening to them, everything is like happening outside of them. But in so many cases, it's happening to actual people.
Right.
Just like it's happening to people in the Ukraine, they're being displaced. Just like all this, it happens to people. We're not all so different. You know what I mean? And, you know, so that's the thing that I think people have to get in perspective. It's like, this happened, you know what I mean? And we are here now. So what are we going to do about it? You know what I mean? And it's not a happen that's so far past either. It is happening too. You know, it's happened and it's happening. There's stuff that's happening, and we all have to start to take a real good look at it.
Right.
And you know, but that's really far-fetched, I think, for most people. But that's what I think people need to do. But
well, I think the mayor saying that the judicial system was broken was far-fetched 2 days ago for people too. But obviously we see different, right?
Yeah, I heard a story about that, but I shouldn't feel. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I heard that was a whole setup too, but I can't say what I heard. But
oh man, we
need
the inside scoop.
I know, I got it, but I have to tell you on the DL
Tell
some
me,
other time.
tell me some other time. Tell me some other time. I ain't gonna put you out there like that. But I already know it's some other shit.
Right.
But hey, I ain't gonna lie, man. Mobile
That's
got a lot of
right.
old ass judges that need to go. You can't die on the bench. This, this ain't your own Supreme Court. Retire. Get the hell on. Especially with
I
the
think that we all
racial
need to
prejudice.
hold everything accountable, right?
Like, I honestly think that people at this stage in the game that have racial prejudice or racial or racist should probably be deemed mentally ill at this stage in the game.
How about just mentally, legally ignorant? Can we go with that?
Yeah, mentally ill. Open up the Brewer Center
Maybe,
again.
to be fair.
Yeah, you can be on
Hey,
Starfish.
you guys, I love you, Mike. I miss you. I probably need to let y'all carry on the conversation because I'm gonna go, but we have to talk sometime. I hope you come to town.
All right, I'll be in town soon. All right, Diane.
Good night, Diane.
Yeah, I don't want to. Good night, Ronnie. I love you. I
love you too.
I gotta work.
Yeah. Have a good night. Get some sleep.
Good night.
I'll talk to y'all soon. I hope.
All right.
Love you.
All right.
Love you too. She's a sweetheart. I love
Diane in the building. Yeah, man. I like when people call in, man, and give us different perspectives of it, man. And Diane is one that's definitely not afraid to give her perspective.
Right.
And I didn't mean to ask the hard questions, man. I don't want, to put her out on Front Street trying to, answer things that are going on. I'm a man. I take responsibility for my own words and my own questions. I'm standing on it, 10 toes down. I'm standing on it.
Well, Mike, let me ask you this. How do you feel about this? Because that was so oppressive, do you think that those people should still remain? Because that's the plateau area, correct?
Right.
Africa town. Do you think that they should still stay there? Don't you think at some point, if you're really oppressed, that you should just, not saying leave your home, but not saying leave Mobile, but maybe move to a different part of town? Like, I don't think I could stay there if I had those feelings that was that deep rooted in me. I would stay there.
But that part of town is their part of town. That's their land. As oppressive as it may be, that's their land. It's basically the same thing they want us to feel for Ukrainians.
Well, if it's their land, why can't they have their own laws? Like, aren't there certain Indian reservations where that they don't have to abide by law?
Well, Sandy Stimpson already told us there's a broken judicial system. So just attribute that to the broken judicial system in Mobile.
Yeah, because of Indian reservations can be exempt from certain laws, and the Amish and other communities. Why can't the people in Africa town?
Right. Because laws were made for Black people. Our freedom is a law. And that's why I take offense to it when other groups try to encroach on it. That's why I take offense to it. That's just something, in my opinion, that needs to be safeguarded. Like the Holy Grail. You can't have police out here breaking the law. You can't have people that claim to be upholders of the law breaking the law. The law is the only thing that guarantees mine and your freedom, Ronnie. Do you understand that?
Yes.
It doesn't guarantee. There's no specific constitutional amendment giving white men freedom or white women freedom. We have a specific constitutional amendment granting us freedom. Man, this has been a hell of a conversation. I ain't intending for it to go this deep.
We get deep sometimes.
Yeah, we do. I want to show y'all your beloved Prince William. Let me show you your beloved Prince. Hold on.
William or Harry? Which one is the beloved? Which one is the beloved?
Both of them niggas ugly to me. So
I like
let me know.
I like the one that's down to earth, that's married to Megan. I like the red. He's the redhead, right? I like the redhead.
Oh yeah.
Hair.
and fortitude.
Wow, come on. Why can't you rewind these shit?
The strength and shared sense of purpose of the Jamaican.
I'm gonna let it go for a minute.
Spirit. I strongly agree with my father, the Prince of Wales, who said in Barbados last year that the appalling atrocity of slavery forever stains our history. I want to express my profound sorrow. Slavery was abhorrent, and it should never have happened. While the pain runs deep, Jamaica continues to forge its future with determination, courage, and fortitude. The strength and shared sense of purpose of the Jamaican people, represented in your flag and motto, celebrate an invincible spirit. I strongly agree with my father, the Prince of Wales, who said in Barbados last year that the appalling atrocity of slavery forever stains our history.
Our history.
I want to express my profound
Now, what
sorrow.
does our mean?
The royal family.
Is it our family's history?
Or our nation? What does he mean? What exactly does he mean?
Yeah.
Sounded kind of apologetic to me. Like he's
let's just keep it a buck. All of Britain wasn't involved weren't slave owners. There was some people that were there that were slaves as well, and they had Ireland enslaved. You know what I'm saying? And at the same time, so everybody in Britain isn't to bear the brunt or the responsibility of slavery. But the richest family in Britain should. Why should Kate get to have all of this shit off the backs of people she never met? Why does William get all this, this prominence? Harry, Meghan, why did he get all this prominence? Meghan and Harry got snubbed out there in Zimbabwe, wherever they were when they were visiting South Africa, or one of them spots they were visiting. Meghan was all excited. I'm going back to my roots, my African roots. The motherfucker told her, get the fuck out of here. They told her,
take your little bow tie, get your shit, and get the fuck out of my office. You understand? Get the fuck out.
That's what they told her. They told her, get the fuck out.
Why are they mad at her?
Because she married to the beast.
That doesn't make sense to me, though. I would never understand that.
You can't be married to a monster and expect for people to like you.
But he's not. I don't find him to be the monster. I think that's why the family has ostracized him. I think he's different from them.
He's a monster.
He's born into something that's bigger than him. He's a victim of circumstance. He's nurture. He's nurture. I don't think he's nature. I think he's nurture. I think he's a part of what he was taught.
That's fact.
And I think that since he's away from them, and now that he has his own little black child or whatever she's mixed with, I think he'll be sensitive to our culture.
Oh, now that his grandmama done kicked the black child out of the royal family.
But you know what? She did that, and you know what he could have done? You know what? He could have been one of those Caucasians that would have just jumped ship and left a baby mother and disowned the child. I think what he did was very good. He stayed with his wife, and he's doing what he should have done because he chose to be a family man. He chose his wife over his grandmother, and I think that was a respectful thing to do because you forsake your family for your wife. So he did the right thing in my eyes. I respect him for that.
None of y'all cats better not pick y'all grandmama over y'all wife. Let me find out.
I have a respect for a man that chooses his wife over his family. That's the right thing to do.
Let me find out. You done chose your grandmama over the red bone. I'm gonna let you have it. But no, he came very close to admitting what their family, And I'm gonna tell y'all something too, man. Y'all can check me on this, but look up John Hawkins and look up the first slaves came to the United States on a ship called Jesus.
The ship was called Jesus or Jesus? I'm just curious. Did they pronounce it Jesus or Jesus?
The ship was Jesus. It was an English ship. So
Oh my God.
Jesus is Spanish.
Right, I know. That's why I want to clarify.
Jesus. But look it up. John Hawkins was the captain of that ship, and that was the what was the name of that company? It was one of those first companies. It wasn't a Dutch East India Company, but it was one of the first companies in England. Hold on one second.
That's very disrespectful to name a slave ship Jesus. What were they thinking?
Or maybe it's disrespectful to name your God Jesus after a slave ship. What came first, the chicken or the egg? We don't know.
Okay, then. Well, when you put it like that.
Let's see.
And I wanted to try, you know how they say you can do the ancestry.com and find like your tribe and exactly, they can pinpoint exactly what part of a region you were from.
Mm-hmm.
I've been wanting to do that, but I'm afraid because this lady, she was actually a Caucasian lady. She said she was sitting on her front porch having a cup of coffee. And the detectives came to arrest her because her DNA was in this database, and her first cousin that she didn't even know was her cousin had committed crimes against children like in the 1950s. And they found her cousin through her DNA. So I don't want to give my blood and come to find out I might have a long lost cousin or uncle that did some heinous crime, and I'm the reason that, not that I don't want them to justice to be served, but I don't want to be the reason somebody's life is ruined because I gave my damn blood.
Right.
So
yeah, I'm not doing my DNA, dog.
I want to do it so bad. I want to spit in the tube or whatever they do to find out where they're from.
My DNA, period.
Because I don't know, like my dad is from New Orleans, and people here they don't know. They always want me to speak either Haitian, Creole, or Spanish, and I don't speak damn one of this shit because I don't know. All I know is I'm black. Right. I don't know I'm black and Creole. I don't know I'm black and Indian. I don't know. I just know I'm black. That's what I know about me.
Oh, you got that Creole blood in you.
But I want to know what part of Africa I'm from. I want to know what my tribe is. I want to know what my religion was before Christianity was introduced.
But the thing about that's the trick. DNA is not going to tell you all of that.
But I've heard people say that through their DNA that they have been able to actually narrow down what part of Africa and what the tribes of that area.
I'm going to tell you why that's cap. Because a tribe is a social construct.
Right, but I mean,
it's not a biological construct.
But most social constructs were there like that because their civilizations were not as intelligent and advanced as ours. So that might be just that tribe may just be a small area. I can kind of understand how that could work.
I can see how it could work like with pygmies or people like that, like certain people.
Right.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, the tribe is a social construct. It may bring you to a geography, but see, a lot of times when you're looking at this, right? So just for instance, my mom got hers, right? Her DNA said, it was like 30% Nigerian, and then it was like 5% Congo, and then another percent Bantu or whatever. How the hell do they know that? Countries are boundaries created by governments.
That's true.
How can you tell that in DNA? DNA is older than Nigeria. My nigga, I'm just gonna let you know.
I guess I don't know how they do it. I would love to know the science behind that. We should do a show on that. But we should give ourselves like time to research it, maybe 6 months.
You know what they do with that shit? They get your blood and your DNA and find out if you committed any damn crime. And
or
then
somebody in your family.
And then they're going to tell you 1% Irish, no Indian, and goddamn all that other shit where you really got pictures of your great-grandparents that look like this. They're going to tell you ain't got no Indian in you, but you came from Congo or some shit like that.
And that's your great-grandmother or your grandmother, Mike?
That's my great-great-grandmother. That's my grandmother. Yeah.
She's pretty. She looks very wise too. She looks like she's looking at me and telling me something.
Oh shit! Let me get this off of here.
She's beautiful. She's pretty.
Thank you. But what I'm saying is, it's cap, man. It's cap. DNA is older than the concept of an Ireland. DNA is older than the concept of England. DNA is older than the concept of Africa in itself.
What I really want to know is, because I was raised a Christian. My mother was raised Methodist. I went to Catholic school, so I converted to Catholicism. So, and when I moved to Brooklyn, the church that I joined was a Baptist church. So every religion that I've ever been a part of is Christian. Right. But I want to know where I'm from. What was my religion? What was my family's religion before they came to America? I'm just curious, because I didn't know until I came to New York that a lot of Africans are Muslim. I thought most of them had their own religions like Yoruba and things like that. I didn't realize so many people from Africa were Muslims.
Well, they
until recently.
They're Muslim because the Arabs conquered Africa. They conquered.
So that's what, like, we're Christians Africa. Because the Europeans made us Christians. Right. So I want to know what I would have been had I not been westernized.
Probably practicing voodoo, dog, which is fine. I ain't got no problem with it.
Voodoo and hoodoo are two different things. Voodoo is a real religion. People think voodoo is black magic. Voodoo is a religion. Hoodoo is black magic and witchcraft. They're two different things. But a lot of people think voodoo is bad. Voodoo is just like Hindu, it's just like a religion. So.
I'm trying to learn. I don't think none of it's bad, because honestly, look, Christianity's killed millions and millions of people. So you can't sit up and tell me voodoo bad because somebody put a root on your ass and got you up off of them. You know what I'm saying? Or if you ran up on somebody wrong and they did something to you, you can't tell me voodoo's bad and Christianity's good. Because I'm not going to be talking love yours and hate mine. I'm sorry, I can't do it.
If you read some of those Psalms, you wishing death on people. So I mean, some of the Psalms in the Bible they're just as scary as some of these religions that we talk about. So I mean,
any religion is going to get into the metaphysical,
right,
or the supernatural, even if it's not all the way downright supernatural. And that's, you know what I'm saying? So, hey, voodoo's no different, or it has no different characteristics than any other religion.
But what made your mother decide so did she have to do that? She did the blood, or she just did the where you spit in the tube?
She did the spit in the tube, or whatever, how they do it, the swab.
Was she satisfied with the results? Does she believe it? Was she satisfied with what they brought back to her? Or she don't believe it.
We don't believe it because it states that there's no Native American. In which case, if you can break down and go to tribes,
right?
Her great grandmother is from where the pyramids are in Alabama. You know what Moundville is in Alabama?
Right. Okay.
That's where the Indian pyramids are. She's from there. You mean to tell me nobody? They want to disconnect you from this land. That's why they tell you came from Africa or you came from somewhere else. The truth of the matter is this, and I wish I had a map. Africa is very close. It's a part of Africa that's very close to South America. That's actually closer than any part. Let me see if I can find a map. Give me a moment.
But I came so close to doing the ancestry DNA until I started seeing those stories where people have actually gotten relatives in trouble because they did that. And I was like, no, I don't want to be the one. I don't want to be the one to ruin somebody's life.
Oh, yeah, get one of your cousins fucked up.
Yeah, I don't want to have a relative that's 75 years old that's already sick and feeble come and get arrested for something he did at 19, whatever. All on the strength of me trying to find out what tribe I'm from in Africa.
Okay, let me open this up. And I'll show y'all this. So, and I'll put my and like I said, we could have a bigger, deeper discussion about this down the road. My video file, cancel, share screen. Oh man, it ain't gonna work. Hold on. Let me do it on this one. World map. Show you something. And I'm just using this to illustrate this point real quick. Like, all right. I can get rid of this. And then I show it on this one. All right, let me share this real quick. Why didn't it do nothing? Oh, well. Continents of the world. All right. This isn't the best map, but I'll show you something. So if you look at Africa right here, you see my thing, I'm on Africa, right? So what they're saying is we came from around this area of Africa, which is Nigeria, Ghana, you know, Benin, all of this is around this area of Africa, right?
Right.
So what they're saying is that millions and millions and millions of Africans, due to Europeans, came across the water through these areas, right? And the Europeans just settled all of these areas. But when you get down in South America, you got statues of people that look like black people, right? That have been there for thousands of years. So if you look at this here, look at that distance there. It would be crazy to think that the Africans didn't have boats and ships at some point in time.
Yes, of course they did. They were smart people.
Right. Look at the difference in this distance than what they're trying to claim was this distance.
Right.
If you look at Africa, the closest state to Africa is Maine, right?
When you look at it like that.
Yeah, it's the closest state. And that's not even showing the real curvature of the earth. So actually it's way less than what they're trying to say this was. They're trying to say this happened, and that's where all the black people in the United States and North and South America came from. But then they're not saying that this happened thousands of years ago before any of these people found out.
Right.
It doesn't make sense.
Not at all.
It doesn't make sense. Look at how many black people are in Brazil. You mean to tell me these folks brought 93, million people over here? 100 million black people from Africa on ships that they built? Doesn't make good sense to me.
That's a real good point.
Doesn't pass the smell test to me. And then plus there's all type of documented evidence about it. All of these people, the Mayans, the Aztecs, the Incas, these were all people that originated and derived from Africa. Hundreds of years before. Let me see one more thing. I'm going to show y'all one more thing. I'm going to get out of here. I want to show y'all one more thing. It was certain types of spear tips they found in South America that they found also in Africa. But let's look at some of these statues that's in Latin America.
I actually want to go to Africa this year. You know what? I hate to say I was ignorant to the fact. I never even thought of Morocco as being in Africa. To my oldest son was like, "Mama, that's in Africa." And I'm looking at him like he the one that didn't know, and he was actually right. I never even thought of Morocco as being a part of Africa.
Yeah,
Morocco. I want to go to the Blue City. I want to see that city.
So look at some of these images. This is right here, Ethiopia, Mexico. Look at these images that you find in South America and Mexico.
Those lips, that's definitely a person of color.
Yeah, these are all through, all through what they call the Inca Empire, the Toltec, what is it, the Holtec or whatever they're called. The Incas, the Mayans, the Aztecs, all the different Indian tribes.
So they'll even rather give Hispanics the credit before even giving it to an African.
A Hispanic is nothing but a mix between Indian and a Spanish person. So to assume that, once again, what came first, the chicken or the egg? What came first, the Indian or the Spanish? But look at these statue heads, man.
Yeah.
For real, man.
You said from Brazil? That's Brazil?
That's like Peru, all all down South America. Yeah.
Yeah.
All up through there. All into Mexico.
Wow.
All into Mexico. So for real, man, fire your history teacher, man. Do your research.
Yes, fire your history teacher. Mike, we got to get our platform. We got to get our numbers up because we talk about some stuff that people don't even know about. Because I'm usually learning something because we discuss like our hot topics, our stuff that we're going to talk about for tonight, but we always uncover other things once we get on the air. So
right. Absolutely. Those things hurting my ears. I'm sorry, Ronnie.
That's all right.
They've been on for so long, they hurt my ears a little bit. My ears all tender and shit.
Am I screaming?
Nah, you ain't screaming. It's just
you sure? Because my acting teacher said I be screaming.
Nah, you don't be screaming. You good.
I do more theater, I guess, than film. So I have to remember that I'm on a microphone and I'm not talking to a room, just a room. So
let's see. Ed got a question. Ed, yeah, of course you can ask a question here in the chat. Go ahead, put it on there. Maybe I got an answer for you. Let's see what Ed got to say. Real shit though. If y'all want to know more about this topic, read a book called They Came Before Columbus. I actually have a copy of it here. I just don't. Yeah, They Came Before Columbus, but I thought I had it here. Hold on, let me see if I got it in here. While I wait for Ed's question. Hold on.
Ed must have a very deep question for us. Taking a few minutes. I can't wait to see what he's going to ask us. I hope we have an answer. Look in the chat and see.
Hell, I got every book besides that.
So I was looking in the Facebook chat. Edward is in the YouTube chat. Okay.
Yeah, Ed in the YouTube chat. I don't know. He ain't asked it yet, but maybe you type it. But yeah, okay. It's called They Came Before Columbus. I have books just hanging out all over the place.
I have so many books, Mike. I threw away a lot of books, and they say you're never supposed to throw away knowledge. But I had so many books. One time when we moved, I had to get rid of some of them. Mm-hmm. I should have donated them, but I just didn't have the time or the energy. Just got rid of them.
Yeah, right.
Because I have to have a book. Like people can read on their Kindle and on their phone. I have to have a physical book.
Gotta read from the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't feel the same if it's not. Maybe he wanted to call in. Is the phone line still up, or did we run out of time on Blog Talk?
Oh, phone line's still up. Let's see. You want to call in, Ed? Let's see. 515-605-9708.
I hope I feel better by the time we broadcast next week.
It's all good, man. I appreciate you for joining us tonight.
I hate these seasonal allergies, but I didn't want to miss this show. I knew it was going to be a good one.
Yeah, man. I mean, we kind of went exactly where I wanted to go with it.
Good.
Because, it was just some things, man, that, like I said, Sandy Stimpson's words had a gravitational pull on me.
But I want to know if they're going to hurt people or help people, because a defense attorney can use it in his defense. Even the mayor of the city has said this is a broken system. That could work for the mayor or against him and the police force. So I don't know what that statement even did for anybody.
It didn't do anything for anybody. It just took away the buck off of him.
Right.
I'm late. Hello, Big Mike and Miss Lady. What up, Rough Day in the building?
Hey. Rough day. You missed a really good conversation.
Yeah,
you got to go back and watch this.
Yeah, you got to catch the replay on this, man. I normally don't get into this thing, man. See, it's the damn glasses, man. It's the damn glasses, man. I think I'm done reading for the night. Oh. Like I said, I was on that Tina Turner that, man, we don't need another hero.
Yeah, you got to get that sound bite. You got to create that sound bite for us.
Yeah, man, that shit had me hyped, man. I'm finna listen to it when we get off.
That's going to keep you up tonight. That's not going to mellow you out. That's going to give you some drive. You got to listen to something mellow, some George Michael or something.
George Michael?
Something that's going to be relaxing or some
jazz
or
something. On my stomach?
It's bedtime. Why you going to listen to We Don't Need Another Hero at bedtime?
With my feet kicked up behind me, listening to some George Michael.
Everybody don't want to hear We Don't Need Another Hero at 10:30 at night.
That was a weird ass song, man. Now that I think about the lyrics, that father
what was going on? What was going on at that time? It had to be some sort of political unrest. Because think about it, that's the same time that's the same. We Don't Need Another Hero. Wasn't that made around the same time that they made We Are the World and all those songs?
Oh yeah, but
so it was something going on that made her sing that song.
Hey man, that song was about black folks.
Was it our black folks over here, or was it like the real We Are the World? Was it black folks across the globe? What black folks? Was it us black folks or other black folks?
It wasn't us.
Okay.
I'm gonna say the lyrics, man. Matter of fact, that's how I'm gonna end the show, man. I don't know if Ed's still on with us, but I'm gonna end
does Joe Brown say Tina Turner had her some bottom bitches?
Man, look, these are the lyrics to Tina Turner's song "We Don't Need Another Hero," and this song was featured on Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, the movie. Remember that with Mel Gibson?
Yeah.
So, out of the ruins, out from the wreckage, can't make the same mistakes this time. We are the children, the last generation. We are the ones they left behind. And I wonder when we're ever gonna change. Living under fear till nothing else remains. We don't need another hero. We don't need to know the way home. All we want is life beyond the Thunderdome. Looking for something we can rely on. There's got to be something better out there. Love and compassion. Their day is coming. All else are castles built in the air. And I wonder when we're ever gonna change. Living under fear till nothing else remains. All the children say, we don't need another hero. We don't need to know the way home. All we want is life beyond the Thunderdome. So what do we do with our lives? We leave only a mark. Will our story shine like a light or end in the dark? It's all or nothing. Repeat. We don't need another hero. We don't need to know the way home. All we want is life beyond the Thunderdome.
So maybe that was for us. Mike.
What's up?
If we take those words literal, is the way home back to Africa? Maybe she was talking to people in America. Maybe we have to look at those words a little bit deeper.
But what she was saying, we don't need to know the way home.
Right, we don't. Make us comfortable here where we are. Be fair to us right here. Exactly.
Let's make it a buck, man. And anytime you got Africans coming over here, Africa is already falling.
Yeah.
Africans lost Africa. So, you know what I'm saying? We got here. We've been here. So, and none of us are leaving here to go anywhere else because nobody else likes us.
Because America has given African Americans, because real Africans that come here from Africa don't consider us one of them. So African Americans what America has done for us has made us look like monsters across the world. So we go places like England and London and places like that. They think of us as animalistic people.
You know
they don't
why
think
they
of us as
that?
civilized.
Because we the only ones who fought back on this planet. We're the only ones who fought back, and most of them fights happened in Alabama.
Huh. And going back to Alabama earlier,
Alabama. But them fights didn't go down in Georgia. Them fights didn't go down in Florida or Texas like they did, or even Tennessee. They went down in Mississippi and Alabama.
Yeah. When we were speaking earlier about them building another court, part of the court, they actually are building another part to the metro. Did you know that?
I didn't.
My son texted me that. He must have heard us in the podcast, and he texted me. I don't know where he got the information, so don't quote it until I investigate it. But
no, that's fine.
He said they are building another part to the metro. I had no idea, so I just saw the text. I just wanted to make that information available.
Yeah, well, like I said, maybe they can actually get some competent people in there and actually start adjudicating some of these cases.
Maybe they can let the people out that are not really violent criminals, people that are down there for marijuana, let those people out and put the criminals with gun charges and murders in.
If you in
because
the war on drugs
part of the metro
on marijuana that you picking folks up for and harassing communications, I don't even get that.
Harassing communications, they're calling somebody on the phone and hanging up.
Don't
answer your damn phone.
It'd be a lot of chicks. It'd be a lot of chicks in jail for that shit.
But Mike, it's too much technology. We got call block, we got caller ID. If somebody is harassing your ass through electronics, through Facebook, Snapchat, and all that stuff, it's your fault because you have ways of avoiding that.
You can block the people. Exactly.
You can avoid cyberbullying too, if you ask me. All of that stuff that we gave all these fancy names to are avoidable.
Right.
So I'm not victim blaming, but I'm just saying you can stop this stuff. You don't have to go through the court system for that.
I'm victim blaming. And I'm gonna wait till the next show. And
you victim blaming, but you're not gonna get the hate mail. They're gonna send it to me.
Yeah,
they're gonna say Ronnie said,
man, I don't get it, man. Y'all leave Ronnie alone, man. Y'all come at me if y'all need it, man. If y'all want to smoke, come at me. I'll say this though. I was gonna talk about the swimmer. The male swimmer that won #1 in the women's swim competition.
I thought that was a meme. That's real, Mike. I don't know shit that's going on in the world until you tell me. I'm so caught up in other stuff.
But for those of you who like that, who think that's cool, who will take a win anyway, think about the African chicks back in the Olympics that they said had too much testosterone to compete against women.
They were real females with too much testosterone?
They were females that just tested high in testosterone, but you literally got a dude right now that competed on women. So I'm going out for the WNBA. I'm probably going to be out at parks playing against your little teenage daughters, dunking on the motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting ready. I'm going hard. I'm going hard. I'm joining the WNBA because I know I can win a championship like that. It actually revived all of my dreams. I was not even competitive anymore. I was not capable of having an athletic competition with anybody. But since this new Leah Williamson person has come along and proven that you can beat up on women to get first prizes, I'm with it.
So, Mike, you know what? That brings me to think about we need to do a where are they now or what's next section because our athlete that was over there in Russia with the marijuana oil, we what happened with her between our show last week? Okay.
I mean, what does anybody expect to happen to her? She going through the process. One thing about it, the Russian judicial system ain't broken. She going to
our
court.
System.
Right. She going to court. The Russian system isn't broken. Ah, man.
And I also want to go back to our case about the missionaries that went to Haiti and we didn't go get them. What happened to them?
Oh, they probably dead.
That's what I want to know. I didn't hear anything else about what happened to
it's
them.
A missionary in Ukraine missing. And my thing is this. Why are these missionaries going to these war-torn places? Are they taking children?
Right here.
Are they taking children? Are they taking
humans? Are they sex trafficking?
That's what I'm saying.
Just because you're a missionary doesn't mean you're. A lot of perverted things happen in the church.
Oh yeah.
Not just any church, specifically the Catholic Church.
Bro, just because
I'm not trying to be biased because my mother's Catholic. I converted to Catholicism. I went to a Catholic school, but I'm just saying a lot of these missionary trips, not just Catholic, but I mean Christians in general, Christianity, a lot of those people are doing things that they should not be doing. It's very dangerous to think that everybody that says they're Christian is doing the right thing. They're not always.
First of all, you're named after a sex position. Missionary is a sex position.
What came first, the missionary position or the missionary term in the church? Exactly. The religious word. We don't know.
So you can't go over to Ukraine and tell me I'm a doggy style and I'm just here to help.
And I don't want to bash Catholics or Christians because I still identify as Christian. But I'm fair enough to say that not all Christians operate from the same belief system. Some people are just masquerading as Christians and they have very, very demonic. They come from a different place. We don't all worship the same God.
Right. What Rough Day say they now letting they know they're letting the shooters out on bail and will give shooters a chance to tap all witnesses. Exactly.
Huh.
They trick real women into helping destroy the real men, then use the fake men to destroy the real women. Absolutely. Absolutely. Pure facts. Pure facts. Man, this has been a great show tonight, man. We're going on 3 hours, man. I enjoyed this conversation with you.
Yes.
Ed, I didn't get your question, man, but if you want to hit me on the back channels and let me know your question, man, I would be more than happy to answer your question if I can. But I appreciate you for joining, Ronnie. Any last words for the audience?
Not for me, but I wish Ed, if he can reach you, I would love for him, even if we can't answer him tonight, to ask the question tonight. That'll give us time to research it and have an answer next week at least.
Oh, yeah,
maybe
yeah.
he can still add it in the chat even
Ed's
afterwards.
still in there. Hold on. Where you at, Ed? Go on, man.
Oh, okay, good.
We're going to get your question before we go, Ed. We're going to get Ed a question before we get up out of here, man.
I hope it's something we can answer. We're going to try to answer it anyway.
Hey, good night. Good night, Rough Day, man. We appreciate you.
Good night. Good night.
In a minute. Ed said 1 second, man. We got a second, man. We're gonna work with you.
Where was Quaniel at tonight, Mike?
No telling, man. He might have been at work, man. He be working.
We're missing a few hour regulars tonight, but that's all right. We still had a good turnout. We appreciate everybody that tuned in.
Is that your question, Juicy Smollett?
Juicy Smollett.
Man, look. Where do we stand on Jesse? Jesse's a criminal. Jesse committed a crime. Jesse, what he did was actually terrible, man, especially in the city of Chicago that has so much crime, that real crime that police really need to be trying to work on. For Jesse Smollett to or Smollett, whatever that dude's name is, to do that to the system and cause that type of strain on and publicity on Chicago's system at that time, I think was extremely selfish. And I'm quite frankly upset that he's out of prison. For them, he only had 5 months. Do your little 5 months and then go on, pay your debt to society. He hasn't learned the lesson. He lied all the way to the end. And then he got his bitch ass brother to come out and blame black folks, saying that if he was a straight black male, he would be out of prison. No, he wouldn't. First of all, if he was a straight black male, he wouldn't have been calling the police to make false police reports. Let's just keep that 100. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, Mike, you finish.
Yeah, I ain't worried about Jesse Smollett. And I won't be surprised if he's not going to be part of the apparatus that attacks black people, because he feels like we owed him something, even though he was out here with the fuckery.
I hate to use own. If my grandmama probably turned over her grave because we were always told never to do that. But my thing is with Jesse, I haven't really thought about how I feel about his punishment. Do I think he committed a crime? Yes. Do I think he should have been punished? Yes. But do I know whether or not I think it should be jail time, public humiliation, or if it should be community service? I just really don't know. For somebody that does something like that, I think his punishment should have been probably a mental evaluation, and maybe he should have been put into a mental hospital for maybe those 5 months. Should probably be in a mental institution and not in a prison, because to do that, I don't think putting him in jail is the answer. I think that's something very mental with Jussie Smollett. Yeah.
Put his ass in jail. He still doesn't understand it.
But what people don't realize, Mike, is when you go to these mental hospitals, it's just like a jail, because a lot of times you get chemically restrained. They're gonna, if you're not crazy, if your ass is playing crazy, they're gonna get to the bottom of it. They're gonna either make you crazy for real, so you're gonna stop playing, or they're gonna find out if you're playing with them. So I think he should have been a little bit more of a mental evaluation should have been done on him before they just said he ought to go to jail.
Hey, thanks, Ed. So Ed says, thanks, Mike.
Thank
and Ronnie.
you, Ed.
I say God bless to you all. God bless you too, man. If you were the judge, Ronnie, what sentence would you have handed down?
I would have sent him to a mental hospital for the jail term, the same amount of time, or maybe even more, maybe even a year or 2. But he would have definitely had, it would have been something more along the psychological lines, more so than the punishment lines, because you have to be some sort of crazy for that.
Yeah. If Jussie Smollett would have ever apologized, and just to show I'm not a total asshole, if he ever would have apologized and admitted to it, I would have been like, don't send him to jail. But up to this point, the guy's still saying he's innocent.
I'm the opposite, Mike.
That's a problem.
Had he apologized, that's when I would have said, okay, 5 months, we're going to give, because 5 months or whatever they gave, was very lenient. Had he apologized, then I would have said, 5 months, we just give him a slap on the wrist, because that's all 5 months is, the slap on the wrist. So had he apologized, I might have agreed with 5 months. But the fact that he has never apologized is what leads me to believe he needs more time than 5 months, but it needs to be in a mental institution and not in a jail.
I could agree with that. I'll concur with that.
Yeah.
On facts, yeah. Yeah. I can see that, because something's definitely wrong. And then, like I said, he's lashing out against us now. He even got his little brother to come out and lash out against us, saying that, like, we owe Jussie Smollett something. Like, man, fuck you. I guess that's the best word to say. Like, yeah, she want to still work.
Journey don't want to be blackballed in Hollywood.
As far as Juicy and his brother, that would be my response, man. Fuck you. I don't owe you shit. Why you not jumping on the Africans? You were the one masturbating with them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you masturbated with the Africans. Why ain't they jumping behind your back?
I don't believe that part either, but that's for another night.
He said that. That came out.
I know he said it. I don't believe those Africans was masturbating with Jussie Smollett. I believe he was, maybe one of them may be gay, or maybe they had a little something going on. I believe that was his way of outing somebody. That was his way of getting even with them for telling on him and his little crazy little charade that he did. I think that was his way of indirectly outing somebody. I don't believe they were masturbating in no damn bathhouse. I don't believe that for one bit. Because if you were masturbating, why do you need to tell the entire nation? That's kind of embarrassing. I don't even want my family member to catch me if I'm masturbating. Why the hell you want the entire nation to know you're doing this? I don't believe that.
Why I'm in court. I don't care what's going on. Me masturbating is never going to come up in court for nothing.
Exactly.
That shit ain't coming up with no alibi. It's not coming up for no purposes.
That's why I say he need a mental evaluation.
Yeah,
not jail. Not jail.
Something wrong with
jail is not the answer.
Because see, he's gonna go to jail and then he's gonna reoffend when he get out. The recidivism rate on sick maniacs like Juicy is real high. So, man, we'll see, man. I appreciate Ed for asking the question.
Me
Ron,
too.
I appreciate you for joining me.
Thank you, Mike.
It's been a great show.
Very good.
We will be back next Thursday at 8 p.m. I'm going to start coming up with some more content, man. I'm going to start getting back on, man, a little bit more with some things. But you'll definitely be able to catch me and Ronnie on Thursdays until you take the job. I don't know if you're going to be able to come on when you're traveling, but hopefully we'll see you throughout that time.
We're going to make it work because I do ambulatory, so usually it's gonna be day shift. It's not gonna be no 12 hours. So
okay, gotcha.
It's not gonna be like I'm gonna be at 8 at night. It's gonna be like 8 to 5, 9 to 4:30, like that way. So we're gonna try to make it work. Yeah.
Got you. Bet. Ronnie, man, we appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen.
Good night, y'all. Thank you.
Yo, man, I'm out of here, man. We had a good conversation tonight, man. I hope, hopefully, we can get back and have some more next week. These beers starting to kick in, so I'm gonna go ahead and kick my feet up, watch some snowfall or something, man. I appreciate y'all for joining the Big Mike Drop. Y'all don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. We'll catch you next week, man.